All right, I'm going to do something that, inshallah, bear with me. We're going to read the biography of Ikrimah because there are lessons to be gathered from this. I'm going to give you a gist of the conversation, then we'll read the biography of Ikrimah. Ikrimah, the freed slave of Ibn Abbas, Abu Abdullah, he died in the year, now I can't remember, 104 or 105, right? In Nafi, he died somewhere between 116 and 120. But Ikrimah, he died around 104, 105. His hadith are in all 6 books. That means who narrated from him? Bukhari. Muslim. What you think about Ikrimah? Good. He's in Bukhari and Muslim. Muslim only narrated from Ikrimah when there was somebody else along with him in the chain. Like if I say, Haddathani Ubud wa Fadl, right? I didn't narrate from Fadl alone. I narrated from, Muslim would only narrate from Ikrimah when it was somebody else with him in the chain. But everybody else, they used Ikrimah as a proof. And pretty much everybody after them said Ikrimah is thiqah. Right? We're going to see statements that some of them say that Ikrimah knew more tafsir than Ibn Abbas. And how Ibn Abbas used to let him give fatwa while he was still alive. He told him, go give fatwa, and I'll just support you. There's going to be examples of how he taught Ibn Abbas information. But in spite of that, Ikrimah was also accused of being a Khariji. Huh? That was Dawood too. Dawood ibn Hussein. Ikrimah actually died in Dawood ibn Hussein's house, running from the ruler in Medina. Ikrimah died in Dawood ibn Hussein's house, running from the ruler. And remember, we said Dawood ibn Hussein, if he narrates on Ikrimah, it's what? No, not Mubham, Munkar. Remember, we said Dawood ibn Hussein, all of them say that he is thiq. Later on, everybody agreed that he's thiqah, except when he narrates from Ikrimah. When he narrates from Ikrimah, they say no.
So we can't take it.
So the question is, first, let's read the biography of Ikrimah. And it's long because of this disagreement, but there's a benefit in it. And the benefit in it is especially useful today when scholars disagree about a person. Right? When scholars disagree about somebody who was known, who was a scholar. When his teachers were alive, Ikrimah was what? A scholar. And then you're going to find other people criticizing him, other scholars criticizing him, other Sahaba criticizing him. Ikrimah. And then you're going to find other people, in spite of that, still praising him. And the lesson from all of this is, in spite of that disagreement that happened regarding Ikrimah during his time, what is our opinion about Ikrimah?
He's knowledgeable.
Fiqh. He's in all the books, right? So don't let the disagreement of the contemporaries be something that wipes away the value of an individual when there is disagreement about him. Because everybody after that time, and it's incorrect to say that the people of his time were all wrong. You see what I'm saying? We don't make an excuse for Imam Malik not liking Ikrimah. We say Imam Malik did not like Ikrimah. It's known. He died that way, right? Some people try to say, no, Imam Malik changed his mind. No, Imam Malik did not. He died not liking Ikrimah.
He was from the Khawarij, or he was...
That's what we got to find. This is what we're talking about. When it comes this information and these accusations, it would be incorrect to try to, just say, oh, all these people, they made the accusations, then they changed their mind. And, nowadays we're on the later of the two opinions. Did everybody die thinking Ikrimah was a good guy? No. Everybody did not die thinking Ikrimah was a good guy. Did everybody die thinking Bukhari was a good guy? No. They did not all die thinking Bukhari was a good guy. Did all of them die thinking Abu Hanifa was a good guy? No, they did not all die thinking Abu Hanifa was a good guy. Some of them died disliking these people, thinking that these people were incorrect and outside. That being the case, where is our stance regarding these people? Bukhari, Imam. Abu Hanifa, Imam. Ikrimah, Imam. He's in the 6 books. You can't have your Islam without Ikrimah. You can't have your Islam without Ikrimah. He's somewhere in there. You see what I'm saying? If you get rid of Ikrimah, what you gonna do with your Islam? Because somewhere your Islam has some information from Ikrimah. So the point that I'm making is that during the time of the fitna regarding people will have different opinions. And people will die with those opinions, thinking that that person is a deviant. And that doesn't necessitate us fighting with each other because we disagreed with them when they were alive during that time. Because all of these people who disagreed about Ikrimah, they didn't fight each other. They just disagreed about Ikrimah while still being with each other on the Sunnah. And then when Ikrimah died, and this generation died, and this group of people died, when we go back and look at it retrospectively after being involved in the fitna, well, we can just look at it not from being involved in it. What does everybody say? Ikrimah, inshallah, is a good guy. You see what I'm saying? And so this is a lesson for us in how to deal with the fitna. When Sheikh so-and-so and Sheikh so-and-so, and they were both scholars who studied with Sheikh so-and-so. And then Sheikh so-and-so dies, and now Sheikh so-and-so and Sheikh so-and-so are at each other. And the students and the friends of Sheikh so-and-so are criticizing Sheikh so-and-so. Can they do that?
Can they do that?
Yeah, can they do that?
You can.
They can. They can say, you know what? Sheikh so-and-so made a mistake here. He changed. He lied. He did this. He did that. And they can say Sheikh so-and-so is not as good as he was when our Sheikh so-and-so was alive. And he's off it now. You see what I'm saying? That can happen. And this Sheikh can think that this other Sheikh is now outside. But this group of people who are with the Sheikh who thinks the other Sheikh is outside, does it necessitate them thinking that everybody who says, no, Sheikh so-and-so is still good. There's nothing wrong with him. He might have made a mistake about this or that, but he's still the Sheikh. Does it necessitate the first group? If we put Sheikh A as the main Sheikh, and Sheikh B is the one who thinks Sheikh C is outside, does the people who are with Sheikh B need to refute and kick everybody who disagrees with them about Sheikh C outside?
They don't, but they probably will.
They don't, and they shouldn't, because the Salaf did. They don't. You don't, just because you disagree. Can we disagree about where to put your hands in salat? What's more important?
Salah.
Yeah, this is part of the religion. Can we disagree about like usul of the religion when we talk about salat, zakat, som, and hajj? Right? You think I have to pay zakat on rice? I say I don't. We can disagree about that. Right? That's a pillar of Islam. Can we disagree about a person? When you disagree about me about paying zakat, does that make us enemies in the religion? Everybody understands this. Akhi, it's not that they disagree about a fiqh issue. If we disagree about a person, does that make us enemies in the religion? I can think that he is a deviant. He's a liar. I wish that he would die. You laughing, but you're going to find somebody said, I wish that Ikrimah would die. And Another person who was close and friends with the person who wished Ikrimah would die would say, no, Ikrimah is my sheikh. You see what I'm saying? And these names, when you hear them, like, I don't know if you're following along with us in Sharh Usul I'tiqad Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. You got Muhammad ibn Sirin, from the leaders of the Tabi'een. He said, I wish Ikrimah would die. And you have Ayyub as-Sakhtiyani. Who is Ayyub as-Sakhtiyani? If you're following along with us in that book, it says that Ayyub was the person who took over after Muhammad ibn Sirin. And Ikrimah was Ayyub's sheikh. Did Muhammad ibn Sirin hate Ayyub and curse Ayyub because he disagreed with him about Ikrimah? Well, this is something that it wasn't known from them to act like this. Even if I think he's a deviant, it doesn't necessitate me making you a deviant because you disagree with me. And all of this is only after we study how the information about this person gets to us. The people who said that Ikrimah was a deviant, are those statements verified from them? You understand what I'm saying? So-and-so told you that Sheikh so-and-so said so-and-so is a deviant. Is that statement verified? Or is there some weakness in the chain? Secondly, Sheikh so-and-so told you Sheikh so-and-so was a deviant. Is those his words? Or is there a different understanding? Like when Ibn Umar, as we're going to see, says it to Nafi', oh Nafi', don't lie on me the way Ikrimah lied on Ibn Abbas. This is Ibn Umar saying, Ikrimah, if a Sahabi called you a liar, what you going to do?
That's big.
That's big. How did we say Ikrimah's thicker after that? The Sahabi called him a liar. But what does the word liar mean? Right? Does it mean don't make mistakes about what I'm saying to you the way Ikrimah made mistakes about Ibn Abbas? Unintentional lies? Or does it mean don't fabricate information about me the way Ikrimah fabricated information about Ibn Abbas? And the statement could mean either one. The same way Aisha said, whoever says the Prophet peed standing up is a liar. Even though Hudhayfa said the Prophet peed standing up. So not only do we have to look and see is the information valid from these individuals, we have to look and see does this information have a possible understanding other than what that person is trying to tell us they said. And these are actual practical examples that we have lived through, meaning myself personally, with the fitna that surrounds the Muslims in today's day and age. They'll say Sheikh so-and-so said, he warned against so-and-so, right? And then another Sheikh will say, no, the Sheikh's warning is warning them about what they're saying. If I tell you Sheikh Fulan warned against, somebody came to Sheikh Fulan and they mentioned another person to him, and the Sheikh said, be careful. What is that?
From the deep.
Listen. Sheikh A, some people came to him and said, Sheikh, we want to ask you about Sheikh B. He said this and that. And Sheikh A says, be careful. What is that?
You made a mistake in his speech.
What is the Sheikh? Is he warning against the person?
Just be cautious.
So be cautious from the person, right?
Yeah, be cautious.
So that's a warning. He's warning you, be cautious with this guy. Or could it mean, Sheikh A, we want to ask you about Sheikh B. He said this and that. Be careful. What are you saying at the Sheikh? Be careful what you're saying that this Sheikh said. I don't think he said it. Which one is it? It could be both. And so now you got to, when somebody comes back and they say, well, Sheikh A said, be careful from so-and-so. No, he was telling y'all to be careful about what y'all saying about so-and-so. Or you could say, no, he was warning against so. You have to not only verify is the information accurately, authentically transmitted to the person, but is it what is being said? Is that AT&T? I'm waiting for the internet guy to come and fix the internet. Anyway, but so I'm going to do something. Y'all need a break or y'all good? We're just going to read the biography of Ikrimah, and then we'll finish it up with some comments and some benefits. Because we're saying the mukhbir here, Ibn Abdul Barr and others said, it's no doubt that the mukhbir here is Ikrimah. But Imam Malik wouldn't narrate. He did not mention Ikrimah. And there's a later on, Imam Malik mentions one hadith from Ikrimah in his book where he mentions him by name. But they said whenever Imam Malik said somebody, he's talking about Ikrimah. He wouldn't narrate directly from Ikrimah. And we'll talk about that. He says, Ikrimah, this is Tahdhib al-Kamal by Abdul Ghani al-Maqdisi. This is Tahdhib al-Kamal by Abdul Ghani al-Maqdisi. He says, Ikrimah al-Barbari. So he was from the people of the Barbar, right? He was from northern Africa. Abu Abdullah al-Madini. His kunya was Abu Abdullah. He was from the people of Medina. He was the freed slave of Ibn Abbas. Everybody narrated from him. All 6 of the books narrated from him. He was originally from the Barbar, and he was a slave of Hussein ibn Abil Har al-Anbari. And so Hussein, he gave him to Ibn Abbas as a gift when Ibn Abbas was the governor of Basra on behalf of Ali. So when Ali became the Khalifa, and after the fitna of Siffin and after the fitna of Jamal, right? And the affairs established for Ali, and now you have the Khawarij, Ali has to go against the Khawarij. He sends Ibn Abbas to Basra to be the governor. This is in year 36, where he remained the governor until year 40. During this time, Hussein donated or gifted Ikrimah to Ibn Abbas. Then he talks about the people that Ikrimah narrated on, the Sahaba that he met. Just to summarize it, they say he met about 200 Sahaba. Right? He took knowledge from about 200 Sahaba. And then they talk about the people that took knowledge from Ikrimah. And there are a lot of people who took knowledge from Ikrimah. Then he's going to start mentioning, when you're reading a book like Tahdhib al-Kamal or Tahdhib al-Tahdhib, something like this, they mention the Jarh first, and then, they mention the Ta'dil first, and then they mention the Jarh. So he's going to mention all the people that talk good about Ikrimah first. So he says that Yazid al-Nahwi said about Ikrimah, that Ikrimah said, Ibn Abbas said to me. And you gotta put yourself in context too when we're talking about all of this. Remember, Ikrimah, there's a lot of fitness surrounding him during his life. Do you think he hears about it? He knows that people are criticizing him and talking bad about him. He's hearing all of this. So imagine when he's making these statements to do what? To refute them, to justify, I'm Ikrimah. Y'all know who I am. So he's defending himself. So you got to put yourself into that mind state when he's making these statements. Because otherwise you'd be like, what, man, Ikrimah was a little bit arrogant, wasn't he? He was just talking about himself like that, right? But it's not that he was trying to show off. It's that he's trying to prove that, I'm not a deviant, y'all. So Yazid al-Nahwi, he says that Ikrimah said that Ibn Abbas said to me, go out and give fatwas to the people, and I'll support you. No, you're good. Go give fatwas to the people, and I'll support you. When somebody asks me, I'll say, no, Ikrimah's good. Right? Go out and give fatwa to the people, and I'll support you. Ikrimah, he said, what about if the people are twice as many as they are right now? Should I give them fatwa? Right? Meaning, Medina, Mecca, there's not a lot of people, but you want me to give fatwa? What about when the communities grow and there's more people, there's more issues, there's more problems, right? In the future, should I still be giving fatwa? Ibn Abbas, he said, go out and give them fatwa. And if it comes to you somebody who asks you about something that doesn't concern them, if it comes to you somebody who asks about something that concerns them, then answer their question. And whoever asks you about something that doesn't concern them, then don't answer their question. And like this, you'll push away from yourself 2/3 of the people's problems. Right? If somebody comes to you, they ask about something that they need to know, answer them. And if they come to you asking about some other stuff, don't answer them. And like this, you'll save yourself from 2/3 of the people's problems. He said, وقال فرزدق ibn Jawas. Al-Farazdaq ibn Jawas, he said, we were with Shahr ibn Hawshab, be Jurjan, right? Jurjan, a famous place. We were with Shahr ibn Hawshab, and Ikrimah came. And so the people said to Shahr, and Shahr ibn Hawshab was a major scholar, the people said to Shahr, should we go and take from him? And Shahr said, go, for indeed there is nobody in this ummah, there's no ummah except that they have a high scholar, a habar. And indeed, the freed slave of Ibn Abbas is the habar of this ummah. That's good jar. I mean, that's good praise, right? Ikrimah, mashallah. Qala Abbas al-Duri on Ibn Ma'in, Yahya ibn Ma'in, major scholar. He said that Ibn Abbas died and Ikrimah was still a slave. So it's not Ibn Abbas that freed him. It was one of Ibn Abbas's children. Because when Ibn Abbas died, Ikrimah was still a slave. He said Ibn Abbas died and Ikrimah was still a slave who had not been freed yet. So Ali ibn Abdullah ibn Abbas sold him. Right? They say that Ibn Abbas, Ali ibn Abdullah ibn Abbas sold him to Khalid ibn Yazid ibn Muawiyah. So Ali ibn Abdullah ibn Abbas sold him, but then he requested him back. He wanted a refund. And in another narration it says, but he requested him back, and then he freed him after that. Right? He says that the reason they mentioned why did he request him back? I'm in the wrong book. That's why. I'm like, why is he skipping half the story? I'm in the wrong book. That's why. I was wondering why there we go. He says that Ali ibn al-Himsi, he says, I saw Ikrimah. So he mentions the story of Yazid ibn al-Nahwi. Then he says that, my phone is acting up. He says that Abdul Hamid ibn Bahram, he says, I saw Ikrimah had a white beard and he had an imamah. Right? He had an imamah that was white and its two sides were between his shoulders. And he had wrapped it around his lihya. And his qamis, his garment, stopped at his ankles. And his upper garment was white. And he had come to Bilal ibn Mardas al-Fazari. And he was in charge of the area known as Madain. And so, Bilal ibn Mardas, he gave him a gift of 3,000, which Ikrimah accepted. Right? Wow, what does that mean? Ikrimah was taking a gift from the ruler. It's one reason somebody might criticize you. He took 3,000 dinar from a ruler. He says, Abu Sa'id ibn Yunus, he said that Ikrimah was from the people who lived in Medina. And he also lived in Mecca. And he also lived in Egypt. And he also stayed with Abdurrahman al-Jassas al-Ghafiqi. And then he also moved to Africa. Right? These are all the places that he went. He says that Abbas ibn Mus'ab al-Marwazi, he said that the most knowledgeable people who learned from Ibn Abbas tafsir. Ikrimah was from the most knowledgeable of people. I'm sorry. They said that Ikrimah was more knowledgeable about tafsir than Ibn Abbas. Ikrimah was more knowledgeable about tafsir than Ibn Abbas. And he used to travel from country to country presenting himself for the people. Right? He would go from area to area just so that the people could meet him and learn from him. This was Ikrimah. Somebody does that. What do you think that might bring? Ujub to the person himself. What else? From the other people.
Fame.
Fame, but fame comes with criticizers, jealousy. He's here, all right, traveling here and there, presenting himself to the people. I'm Ikrimah, come. Ikrimah poster, flyer. I'll be there September 29th, giving a Dawson Masjid, He's traveling from land to land, presenting himself to the people. Now, he says, so he came to Marw. Marw is a famous city. and he visited Makhlad ibn Yazid ibn al-Muhallib. And he used to stay, or he used to sit ala sarrajain, on two like saddles in the shop of Abu Salama as-Sarraj, al-Mughira ibn Muslim. And he used to travel on a green mule, right? This was his status. He's just letting you know a little bit about him. He says that Al-Farazdaq at Jawas al-Hammani, he said, we were with Shahr ibn Hawshab in Jurjan. And so that's why you see that. I'm sorry, this is going to be a boring class if you don't like people. But you see why Ibn Hajar skipped all of that in his summarization when I was in the wrong book, because none of that had to do with his validity. In Ibn Hajar, in his summarization, he only wanted to talk about stuff that dealt with validity. We don't need just description and where he was at and where he went. We just want to know, was he good or bad? But Al-Maqdisi, he brings a lot of background information for the person. So that's the difference between Tahdhib al-Kamal and Tahdhib al-Tahdhib. He says that Farazdaq, he said that I was with Shahr ibn Hawshab in Jurjan when Ikrimah came. And so we said to Shahr, should we not go to him? And Shahr said, go. For indeed, there is no nation except that they have a Habr. And indeed, this freed slave of Ibn Abbas is the Habr of this ummah. He is the major scholar of this ummah. Abdul Samad ibn Ma'qil, he said, when Ikrimah came to the army, or لما قدم إكرمة الجند, or a person named al-Jund, he gave him, when Ikrimah visited the soldiers, visited the army, when Ikrimah visited the army, right, the Muslims are on the forefront, the battlegrounds, most likely in Egypt. When Ikrimah visited the army, Tawus gave him a fast horse that was worth 60 dinars, 60 gold coins. And so it was said to Tawus, why are you giving this slave, because you got to remember, he's probably still a slave at this time, why are you giving this slave a fast horse that's worth 60 gold coins? He said, do you think it's something wrong with me buying the knowledge of Ibn Abbas for my son Abdullah ibn Tawus for 60 gold coins? Right, I gave him this fast horse that's worth this much so he would be more inclined to hang out and like maybe my son can benefit knowledge from him while he can sit down. He says that Abbas ad-Duri, he said that Yahya bin Ma'in, he said that Ibn Abbas died and Ikrimah was still a slave who hadn't been freed. So Ali ibn Abdullah ibn Abbas, he sold him, and he was criticized. He said, are you going to sell your father's knowledge away? And so he requested that the sale be refunded. In Al-Waqidi, he said that Abu Bakr ibn Abi Sabra, he said that Ali ibn Abdullah ibn Abbas sold Ikrimah to Khalid ibn Yazid ibn Muawiyah for 4,000 dinar. And then he requested to cancel the contract. And after that, he freed Ikrimah. He said that Dawood ibn Abi Hind said that Ikrimah said, Ibn Abbas read this ayah. This is an ayah that Ibn Abbas had read. لِمَا تَعِذُونَ قَوْمًا اللَّهُ مُهْلِكُهُمْ أَوْ مُعَذِّبُهُمْ عَذَابًا شَدِيدًا. Why would you ever warn a group of people that Allah is going to destroy them or punish them with a severe punishment? Ibn Abbas said, I don't know if these people escaped Allah's punishment or were they destroyed. Because the ayat says Allah's going to do what? He's either going to destroy them or punish them. And so he's like, I don't know. There's people that are being referenced in this ayat. Did Allah destroy them or did Allah just punish them? Which one did Allah do? And though Ibn Abbas said, I don't know which one happened. He says, Ikrimah says, so Ikrimah said, I didn't stop clarifying to Ibn Abbas this ayat and explaining it to him until he finally realized that they escaped destruction. And so Ibn Abbas gave me like a nice robe as a gift for teaching him that information. Huh? You got to go back to the tafsir. Who are the people that are being referred to? Were they Quraysh? You see what I'm saying? Did Quraysh escape? Did they escape the punishment?
Is that who he's talking about?
On the surface, that's what I would think it is. Anyway, so he goes on, he says that Muhammad ibn Fudayl said on the authority of Uthman ibn Hakim, he says, we were sitting with Abi Umama ibn Sahal ibn Hunayf when Ikrimah came. And so he said, "Oh, Abu Umama," right? Abu Umama is a major scholar, and Ikrimah came and he started talking to him. He said, "Yeah, Abu Umama, do you remember?" I mean, by Allah, you remember. Udhakiruka Allah. I'm using Allah to make you remember. Don't lie. Udhakiruka Allah. Didn't you hear Ibn Abbas say, when Ikrimah comes and tells you a hadith of mine, then believe him, because he's not lying about me? And Abu Umama said, yeah, I remember that. You see what I'm saying? Like, nah, you can't, you call me a liar, man. Udhakiruka Allah. He says, Ayyub said, on the authority of Amr ibn Dinar, Ayyub as-Sakhtiyani, Amr ibn Dinar, a famous scholar of Mecca, one of the students of Ibn Abbas, he says that Jabir ibn Zayd, another student of Ibn Abbas, he says that Jabir ibn Zayd had given me some questions. And he said, go ask Ikrimah about them. And so Ikrimah began to, and Jabir began to say, this is Ikrimah, the freed slave of Ibn Abbas. He is the ocean of knowledge. You should ask him. Right? Sufyan ibn Uyayna said that Amr ibn Dinar, he said, I heard Abu Sha'tha saying that this is Ikrimah, the freed slave of Ibn Abbas. He is the most knowledgeable person. Sufyan said, the thing that Ikrimah was very good in was the history of the battles. Al-Maghazi, knowing the history of the battles and the events that occurred during the life of the Prophet. This is something that Ikrimah excelled in. And when he spoke and people heard him talking about those battles, it was as if they were on the hill looking at the battle happen. Jarir ibn Abdul Hamid, he said that Mughira said, it was said to Sa'id ibn Jubair. You know who Sa'id ibn Jubair is, right? Major tabi'i, the one that Hajjaj killed, right? Was a major tabi'i. Sa'id ibn Jubair, why did Hajjaj kill him? He participated in the revolt of Abu Sha'tha, right? Is that Abu Sha'tha or Abu Ash'ath al-Laythi? I think it's Abu Ash'ath al-Laythi. I said Sha'tha because it's Abu Ash'ath al-Laythi. Right, there was a person who revolted, and some of the scholars participated with him to get rid of Hajjaj. They were wrong, right? And Hajjaj won. And he started killing people in retaliation. And one of the people that he killed was Sa'id ibn Jubair, right? But Sa'id ibn Jubair, probably one of the most knowledgeable of the tabi'in, right? Up there with Sa'id ibn Musayyib and all of them, like one of the highest level of the tabi'in. So Sa'id ibn Jubair, he said, Mughira, he said, it was said to Sa'id ibn Jubair, do you know anybody more knowledgeable than you? He said, yeah, Ikrimah. Right? So this would have been after, Ibn Abbas died, if I'm not mistaken. Right? This would have been after Ibn Abbas died, because Sa'id was killed by Hajjaj. Naam. He said, do you know anybody more knowledgeable by you? He said, yes, Ikrimah. They said, Mus'ab ibn Abdullah Zubairi, he said, Ikrimah actually married Sa'id ibn Jubair's mother. And when Sa'id ibn Jubair was killed, Ibrahim al-Nakhai, another major scholar, Ibrahim said he did not leave anybody after him more like him. Right? Meaning Sa'id ibn Jubair, even though he was younger, when he died, they said Ikrimah is the most like Sa'id ibn Jubair. And everybody knew Sa'id ibn Jubair. He says, Ismail ibn Abi Khalid, he said, I heard a Sha'bi. He's saying there is nobody left who is more knowledgeable about the book of Allah than Ikrimah. There's nobody left who's more knowledgeable about the book of Allah than Ikrimah. Salam ibn Miskeen, he said that Qatada said, the most knowledgeable people about halal and haram is Al-Hasan, yani Hasan al-Basri. And the most knowledgeable people about the manasik, how to make hajj, was Ata ibn Abi Rabah. And the most knowledgeable people about tafsir is Ikrimah. This was the statement of Qatada. Sa'id ibn Abi Aruba, another major scholar, he said that Qatada said the most knowledgeable of the tabi'een were 4 people. Ata ibn Abi Rabah, he was the most knowledgeable of them about the rites of Hajj and the ritual actions of Hajj. Sa'id ibn Jubair, who was the most knowledgeable of them about tafsir. And Ikrimah, who was the most knowledgeable of them about the Prophet's biography. And Hassan al-Basri, who was the most knowledgeable of them about halal and haram. So we see Ikrimah is on this level with these people. Hatim ibn Wardan, he said that Ayyub as-Sakhtiyani, right? He says that the scholars from the students of Ibn Abbas all gathered together. Amongst them was Sa'id ibn Jubair and Ata and Tawus, and they all gathered together in the presence of Ikrimah. And so they sat down and they started asking him questions about the hadith of Ibn Abbas. What did Ibn Abbas say about this? What did Ibn Abbas say about that? And every time he would narrate to them a hadith, Sa'id ibn Jubair would go like this, and he made 30 with his hand. How do you make 30 with your hand?
30. So you can do that.
That's a Salafi action, right? You got 10, 20, you got, 10, 20, 30. He would make 30 with his hand. Allahu Akbar. Yeah. Huh? Yeah, we got 2 now. You're absolutely right. Imam Ahmed said, we want people who are like this, right? And he put his thumb up and he grabbed his fist. And now we got Sa'id ibn Jubair. Every time Ikri would narrate a hadith, he'd go, right? There's a poet nowadays in the Kufar. He has a song called 30 for 30, right? And so it's like, huh?
Right now?
Yeah, right now. It's a Kafir statement when somebody goes 30 for 30, like they're perfect. They didn't make any mistakes. And so you see, like these cultural things, they still continue. I'm 30, right? That's a Salafi action. I'm 30. Allahu Akbar. I love the Salaf, man. So he said every time he would narrate, Sa'id ibn Jubair would go like this, and he would make 30 with his hand. Until they asked him about the hoot. And I'm assuming here that this is the hoot of the story of Musa, right? When Musa and Yeshua ibn Nun, they went out and they had their fish, atina ghada'ana. So they asked him about the hoot. And so Ikrimah said that it was traveling in the water along with the 2 of them. Fi dhahdahin min al-ma', right? In the shallow waters along their path. Like the fish was alive and it was traveling with them while they were going. Sa'id, he said, I testify that Ibn Abbas, he said that the 2 of them carried the fish in a container or in a basket, right? The fish wasn't in the water, it was in a basket with them. And so Ayyub, the narrator of this story, Ayyub as-Sakhtiyani, he said, I think that both of those statements are correct, right? That Ibn Abbas used to say both of those things. Right? Maybe Ibn Abbas said this one and said that one. So it doesn't necessitate that Ikrimah was what? Was wrong or a liar, right? Even though Sa'id disagreed with him in this hadith. They go on to say that Hushaym ibn Abi Bakr al-Hudhali, he said that I said to Zuhri, Imam al-Zuhri, Ikrimah or Sa'id ibn Jubair, if they disagree about, Ikrimah and Sa'id ibn Jubair, they disagreed about a person. Who was he? When Allah talks about, Inna kafaynaka al-mustahzi'in. We took care of those people making fun of you for you. About the Prophet, Inna kafaynaka al-mustahzi'in. He says they disagreed about who was the person that was from those mustahzi'in that Allah took care of for him. So Sa'id said the name of that person was Al-Harith ibn Ghaytala. And Ikrimah said it was Al-Harith ibn Qais. And so as Zuhri said, both of them told the truth. His mother was known as Ghaytala. And his father was known as Qais. So don't think that because they said 2 different things that Ikrimah is lying. No, they both told the truth. You see what I'm saying? In this, there's a benefit seeking out the unknown people. There's tafsirs about the Quran where they're just explaining who are the unknown people that are mentioned in the ayah, the unnamed people. And the same thing, like Ibn Hajar, he does that often in Bukhari, where they say a person said or a guy said to the Prophet figuring out who that person was. That's a good science to do. But right now we're just talking about the value of Ikrimah. They said that Yahya ibn Durais, he said on the authority of Abi Sinan, who said on the authority of Habib ibn Abi Thabit, that 5 people gathered in my presence, and there will never be a gathering like them again. Ata and Tawus and Mujahid and Sa'id ibn Jubair and Ikrimah. All of them were, i.e. the students, I'm saying all of them were the students of Ibn Abbas. He says, so Mujahid and Sa'id ibn Jubair, they began to talk with Ikrimah about tafsir. And the two of them would not ask him about an ayat except that he would explain it to the two of them. So when the two of them finally ran out of questions, he said, and this ayat was sent down about this topic. And this ayat was sent down about that topic. Right? How is that a praise? He's showing you that not only did he answer all of their questions, he still had more knowledge to go. And so they say, and then later on that night, they all went into the bathhouse. Allahu Akbar. Yeah, the hammam. Right? They spent their whole day learning, talking, hanging out, discussing knowledge. Man, tell me about the ayat. What does Allah mean in this ayat? Till they ran out of questions. Ikrimah kept going. And then when it's nighttime, well, y'all want to go to the bathhouse? Yalla bismillah. Right? Allahu Akbar. He says, Ali ibn al-Madini, he said that I heard Yahya ibn Sa'id. Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Ansari. We know him. He said that the companions of Ibn Abbas were 6 people. Right? The people who were like the students of Ibn Abbas were 6 people. Mujahid, Tawus, Ata, Sa'id ibn Jubair, and Ikrimah, and Jabir ibn Zayd. These were the main students of Ibn Abbas. These are benefits, right? We're talking about how Ikrimah, there's difference of opinion about him. Even though Ikrimah was the student of the major scholar of his time, Ibn Abbas. This is something that is practical today, right? Maybe your generation is a little bit younger than it, but you've experienced it. Shaykh al-Albani, rahimahullah, the major scholar of our time. And what happens regarding his students? There's a lot of disagreement about, is he Salafi, is he not Salafi, is he on it, is he off it, right? That's how this information can help us understand how to navigate that. He says that Sufyan ibn Uyayna, he said, I heard Ayyub, right? Like I told you, Ayyub he's a supporter of Ikrimah, right? Ayyub, he said, I heard Ayyub saying, if I were to say to you, this is Ayyub, if I were to tell you that Al-Hasan, he left off doing tafsir the moment Ikrimah came to Basra, until he left, I'd have told you the truth. If I told you that Hasan al-Basri stopped doing tafsir the moment Ikrimah came to Basra until he left, I'd have told you the truth. And you got to understand what that means. Like the Salaf, when there was somebody who knew better about something, they wouldn't talk in that issue. What I look like talking about tafsir and Ikrimah's here, right? So if I told you that Hasan al-Basri stopped talking about tafsir until Ikrimah left Basra, I'd have told you the truth. Don't sleep on Ikrimah. He says that Zayd ibn al-Hubab, he said, I heard Sufyan al-Thawri while in Kufa saying, take the tafsir from 4 people, Sa'id ibn Jubair, Mujahid, Ikrimah, and Dhahak. Ismail ibn Ulayya, he said about Ayyub that Ikrimah said, indeed, I'll go to the market and I'll hear a guy say something, and that statement will make me think about 50 topics of knowledge. I'll just be walking in the market and somebody will say a statement, and that statement will trigger me to think about 50 issues, right? I'm walking in the market, I heard a guy say, give it to me for $1. And I think, okay, negotiation. What is the rulings in right? Just this one statement made me think about 50 topics that a person, just because of what that person said. He says that Yahya ibn Ayyub al-Misri, he said, Ibn Jurayj, Abdulaziz ibn Abdul Malik ibn Jurayj, the scholar of Mecca, he said that Ibn Jurayj said to me, has Ikrimah come to y'all yet? Talking about Egypt. Did Ikrimah get there to y'all? And he said, yeah, of course. He said, did you write anything from him? He said, no, I didn't. He said, man, you missed 2/3 of knowledge. If you didn't write from Ikrimah, you missed 2/3 of the knowledge. Like, what are the 3/3 of knowledge? Don't ever let a statement of the Salaf go without you thinking about it. You missed 2/3 of knowledge. Is he just talking? Is he talking about abundance? That Ikrimah knew 2/3 of everything? Or is he talking about categories? Tafsir, that's one form of knowledge. What's the other two?
I can get Sira maybe.
Sira, that's 2/3 of knowledge. And we said Ikrimah was good in what? Tafsir and Sira. What's the last third? Well, all of it's hadith. Because, you see what I'm saying? Everything they got was from the hadith. What's the last third? Think about those people that were good in other stuff. No, that's not knowledge. That's supplementary. That's helper. That's helper knowledge, right? Tafsir, Sira, Maghazi, fiqh. And fiqh includes manasik, how to make hajj, how to make umrah. Fiqh includes aqidah. You see what I'm saying? So if you didn't take from Ikrimah, but you missed the Prophet's biography, you missed tafsir of the Quran. I mean, yeah, you might have got fiqh from somewhere else, but man, if you miss Ikrimah, you missed 2/3 of knowledge. Right? Not that Ikrimah knew 2/3 of everything, just that he was a specialist in these two categories, which are 2/3 of all knowledge. And Allah knows best. That's my understanding of it. He says that Ghassan ibn Mudhar, he said that Abu Salama Sa'id ibn Zayd, he said, I heard Ikrimah saying, what's wrong with y'all? Y'all don't ask me questions. Y'all ain't got no money? Right? What's wrong with y'all? Don't ask me. Y'all broke? Right? But here, what he means by y'all broke, not that you got to pay me to get knowledge. It could mean maybe you too scared unless you pay me, but most likely not even that. A falastum. Like, y'all don't need no knowledge. Y'all know everything already. Y'all don't have no questions about the religion. What's wrong with y'all not asking no questions? Right? Ma lakum la tas'aluni. Aflastum. Y'all ran out. Right? Why ain't y'all asking me questions? Y'all ran out? Yeah, huh? Exactly. Aflastum, y'all ain't got no more? Right? Because this is money. This is the valuable thing, this knowledge. What's wrong with y'all not asking me questions? Y'all ran out? But that just shows like what he thought about himself and what the like he has knowledge to give. Right? Is he being arrogant? Right. Look a little arrogant. But you say, this is how the Salaf acted sometimes. What's wrong? Y'all not asking a teacher with his students. Like, come on, think. You ain't got no question? Right? What's wrong? Y'all broke? Y'all ain't got no questions? Right? It just puts you in the reality of how to be in these situations, right? Sometimes, is it okay to ask a lot of questions? Remember, we had a conversation about stop asking all these questions. But here's Ikrimah saying what? We got questions. They ain't got no questions. Right? Knowing how to put those statements together. When should you ask questions? When you need to, when there's somebody there qualified to ask them. And you need those questions. Ask the question. Right? Umayyah ibn Shibl said on the authority of Ma'mar and the authority of Ayyub. Look, everybody is Ayyub, right? He says, Ikrimah came to us, i.e. came to Basra, the freed slave of Ibn Abbas. And so the people gathered around him until he ascended above the roof of a building, right? There were so many people. Where did he have to go to give his class? He had to climb on top of a building just so everybody could see him and hear him. He had to climb up there like he's giving the adhan, climb to the roof of a building just to get a class, right? Abdul Razak, he said on Ma'mar, on Ayyub, I used to want to go travel to Ikrimah, no matter where he was at. Like my wish when I was a young student, man, I just said, man, I'm going to travel to Ikrimah. Now you see why Ayyub loved him so much. Because from the time when I told myself, I'm going to travel to Ikrimah no matter where he's at. Right? He could be in China. I'm going to China one day and I'm going to meet Ikrimah. And then one day, while in the market of Basra, a person was on a donkey. And it was said to me, there go Ikrimah. And the people had all surrounded him. And so I stood up to go to him. And I couldn't think of any questions to ask. Right? The people had gathered. Ikrimah is here. I was going to travel to China. And here he is in my city. People are surrounding him asking questions, and now, all them questions I had, I can't think of. Right? These are things that happen in real life. Like you finally get to the sheikh, and you're in the durs, and that person's there, and now what? Oh man, all them questions I had, I forgot. So Ayyub, he says, and I couldn't ask him anything. All the questions I had left. So I just stood next to his donkey, and the people were asking him questions, and I would memorize what they said, right? I would memorize their answers, their questions to their answers. Abu Bakr ibn Abi Khaythama said that Yahya ibn Ma'in, he said that somebody who heard from Hamad ibn Zayd said, I heard Ayyub, and he was asked about Ikrimah. How was he? And so Ayyub, he said, I wouldn't have wrote his statements down if he wasn't a thiqah, in my opinion. Right? And everybody knows what thiqah means, right? What's thiqah mean? Righteous and reliable. To be thiqah, you have to be righteous in your deen, and you have to be reliable in your memory. Those two things are going to be things that we're going to ask ourselves about Ikrimah. But this is what Ayyub said. Muhammad just came back a minute ago. Why are we talking about Ikrimah? Yeah, but why we told we're doing a Muwatta Imam Malik. Where's Ikrimah at? Hey, he's the mukhbir. He's the mukhbir in this narration. So, and he's a mukhbir who they disagree about his validity. So that's why we're talking about all of this. He said that, he said, Sulaiman ibn Harb said that Hamad ibn Zayd said, it was said to Ayyub, Akuntum aw kanu yattahimuna Ikrimah? Did you all, or did they used to criticize or accuse Ikrimah of being a liar, of being an evil guy? He says, as far as me, then I never accused him of anything. Right? Al-A'mash, he said on the authority of Habib ibn Abi Thabit that Ikrimah passed by Ata and Sa'id ibn Jubair. And so he narrated hadith to them. And when they stood up, I said to the two of them, do you all disapprove of anything that he told you? And they said no. Meaning, do you all criticize any of the hadith that he mentioned to you? And they said no. So that's Ata and Sa'id. Like 7, or we'll say 3 pages so far, all just the praise of Ikrimah. Qala Shayban ibn Abdul Rahman and Nabi Ishaq, he said, I heard Sa'id ibn Jubair, he said, if indeed you all talk about Ikrimah, mentioning certain hadith, you all talking about Ikrimah all the time. Innakum latuhaddithuna an Ikrimah. Right? I'm sorry. You all narrate hadith from Ikrimah. Listen to this statement. Innakum latuhaddithuna an Ikrimah ahadithan law kuntu indah ma haddatha biha. You all are narrating hadith from Ikrimah that if I was there, Ikrimah wouldn't have said them. Right? I'm Sa'id ibn Jubair. You watch your mouth talking about Ibn Abbas when I'm around, knowing that hadith is weak. Right? Knowing that hadith is false. You all, I'm hearing statements from you all saying Ikrimah said this. If I was there, Ikrimah wouldn't have said that because he knew I would have checked him.
Are we going back to now to the criticizing?
We didn't get there yet, but we're getting close. This is what Sa'id is saying though, right? I love these type of examples, right? One of our teachers, when somebody had talked bad about him and that person came to their city, our teacher showed up at his dars. And here I am.
Also, another sheikh criticized.
One of our teachers, right? And so, this is during the time where the fitna was getting really, really bad. And so this person came to our city, or came to the Sheikh city, and so the Sheikh showed up at the dars. Right? You said this on the tape, you said this on the audio, you said this. Here I am now. Let's talk. Right? Here I am. Right?
Were you there?
No, I wasn't there.
Everybody just showed me.
You know, but that's like rujula. You know what I mean? Like, I heard you doing all this talking. Okay, look, here I am. Not even to have a fight or nothing like that, but like, okay, on this tape, you said this. Liar, kadhab, jahil. Here I am. All right? Here I am now. Here's the liar. Here's the kadhab. Here's the jahil. What's going on? Like, talk to me about it. You like, because you said all of this about me somewhere else. That's rujula. You know what I mean? Why am I mentioning that? Sa'id ibn Jubair, he said that you all are narrating hadith from Ikrimah, that if I was there, he wouldn't have narrated those hadith. So Abi Ishaq, he said, so Ikrimah came and started narrating those same hadith. Ikrimah came and started narrating them hadith. And the people were all quiet. Yeah. But Sa'id didn't say nothing. Sa'id ibn Jubair didn't say nothing. Even though he said, if I was, he wouldn't have. Sa'id didn't say nothing. And then Ikrimah stood up and left. And so the people, they said, Ya Aba Abdullah, what's wrong? Right? They said to Sa'id ibn Jubair, what's wrong? Why didn't you say nothing? And he went with his hand 30. And he said, he got him all right. He got him all right. What you want me to say? Right? Allahu Akbar. Like these stories to me is just, it shows you how to be a Muslim, how to be a Salafi, how to be a man in these situations. You see what I'm saying? People gonna say something mean. And man, if I was there, he better not open his mouth talking like that, saying, what can I do? He got him all right. Hamad ibn Zayd, he said on the authority of Ayyub. Yeah, Ayyub. He said, Ikrimah said, do you see these people who are calling me a liar from behind my back? This is what Ikrimah said to Ayyub. You see all these people calling me a liar behind my back? Why don't they call me a liar to my face? If they call me a liar to my face, then they can call me a liar. You see what I'm saying? Ikrimah, Rajul. Hajjaj as-Sawaf, he said on the authority of Arta ibn Abi Arta, that he heard Ikrimah narrating to a group of people. Amongst them was Sa'id ibn Jubair and other than him from the people of Medina. And so he said that indeed, Ikrimah said that knowledge has a price. So give knowledge its price, like pay the price of knowledge. And they said, what is the price of knowledge, O Abu Abdullah? He said, the price of knowledge is that you put it with the people that are good at memorizing it and aren't going to waste it. That you put the knowledge with the people who are good at preserving it and aren't going to waste it. Sulaiman al-Ahwal, he said, I met Ikrimah and with him was a son of his. And so I said to him, has this son of yours memorized your hadith? Has your son memorized your narrations? And Ikrimah, he said, it's always been said that the people who have the least desire of a scholar is his family. The people who azhad al-nasi fi alam ahluhu. Right, this is a famous statement. Azhad al-nasi fi alam ahluhu. The people who have the least desire for a scholar is his family. He says that Qasim ibn al-Fadl al-Hudani, he said that Ziyad ibn Mikhraq, he said al-Hajjaj ibn Yusuf, he wrote to Uthman ibn Hayyan that he should ask Ikrimah about the statement of Ibn Abbas regarding the day of judgment. Is it from this dunya or from the akhirah? And so they asked Ikrimah about it, and he said the beginning of it is part of this dunya, and the end of it is part of the akhirah. That's a nice statement. What's the beginning of it? Al-Qabr, al-Maut. The beginning of it is in this dunya, and the end of it, subhanAllah. He said that Hamad ibn Zayd, he said that Ayyub said, I heard a man say to Ikrimah, so-and-so has cursed me while I was asleep. Right? In my dream, I had a dream that so-and-so was talking bad. Allahu Akbar. He said, I had a dream that so-and-so was talking bad about me. He said, then go lash his shadow 80 times. What you want? Go lash his shadow 80 times. You don't get it?
His shadow?
His shadow. Go whip his shadow with 80 lashes.
Right.
All right, you can't beat him in life. It was a dream. What you want? You just sleep. You had a dream somebody was talking bad about you. Somebody talks bad about a Muslim woman. What they get? 80 lashes. Well, I had a dream so-and-so was talking about, go beat his shadow 80 times. What you want me to do? Go lash his shadow 80 times. You just imagine somebody walking down the street smacking your shadow with a whip 80 times. But he says that Al-Asma'i, he said that Abu Jumay', he said that Abu Yazid al-Madani, he said that Ikrimah, إذا رأى السؤال يوم الجمعة, إذا رأى السؤال with the shadda, السؤال يوم الجمعة, he would curse them. If Ikrimah saw the people who were begging on the day of Jum'ah, he would curse them. And so it was said to him, what do you want with all these people? Why are you being this way to these people, right? Poor, why are you treating the poor people like that? And he says that Ibn Abbas used to curse them when he saw them. And so I said to him the same thing you said to me. Why are you treating the poor people like that? Why are you treating them this way? And so Ibn Abbas, he said, they only come around the Muslims during their Eids and on Jum'ah for no other reason than to beg and to cause harm, to annoy, to beg and to annoy. And so when the people are wanting Allah, on the Eid and on Jum'ah, what do the people want? They want Allah. They want what the people have. He said that Abu Shihab al-Hannat, he said that Humayd al-Tawil, he said that Ikrimah said, or he mentioned about Ikrimah that أنه ذكر عنده أنه يكره للصائم الحجامة. They said that it was mentioned to Ikrimah that people dislike for the person who's fasting to get a hijama. He said, do they dislike if he gets pricked with a nail? If you're fasting and you get pricked with a nail, does it break your fast? Okay, so why does hijama break your fast?
It's a hadith.
There's a hadith in it, but I mean, you don't like people getting hijama when they fasting?
I like it if it's not haram.
Then what about somebody getting pricked with a nail while they fasting? You got a problem with that?
Yeah.
Why? No, you don't. You poke a tree and you get a thorn. You break your fast when you poke a tree, there's a thorn on it. Somebody got a problem with somebody getting hijama? Just showing you some of his knowledge. This statement was just meant, all of these statements that we just read, the last part of them, were just meant to show you some of the fiqh of Ikrimah, right? Now he's going to start getting into the criticism. All right. He says that Amr ibn Khalid al-Harrani, he said that Ibn Lahiyah, Egyptian, Ibn Lahiyah, Abdullah ibn Lahiyah, the major scholar, but he ended up having some issues. That's the one his wife burned down his library, Abdullah ibn Lahiyah. Abdullah ibn Lahiyah, he said that Abu al-Aswad said, I am the person who encouraged Ikrimah to travel to Africa. I'm the person who encouraged, and the reason why they're mentioning Africa, we're going to see, is that they say that this is where Ikrimah started propagating his opinion on the Khawarij. And those Africans later were known as a Zanj. And the Zanj were those Africans who came and tried to overthrow the government. Right? And so where did they get their ideas from? They're saying that they got these ideas from Ikrimah. And so this person, Abu al-Aswad, he's saying that it's kind of my fault. Right? I'm the one who encouraged Ikrimah to go to Africa. I said to him, I know some people, I wish you would go there to them. Right? And Ikrimah was from where? He was from Africa. He was Barbarian. He was barbarian. He was from northern Africa, Libya, Tunis. He was raised, remember he was given to Ibn Abbas in Basra, was from the people of Medina, but originally he was from Africa. Man, I know some people, you should go there. When I give salam, man, I know some people, I think you could help them out, Fadl. And I send Fadl to the Baz. Man, I know some people, I think you could help them. And I send to the app, right? Man, Abu al-Aswad said, man, I know some people, you should go there. And so when he said that to him, Abu al-Aswad, he says, somebody who used to sit with Ikrimah came and said, there go Ikrimah, he getting ready to go to Africa now. And so when he came back, that's when the people started accusing. I mean, when he went to Africa, that's when the people started accusing him of lying. I had left it open. AT&T is supposed to be on their way to fix it. So when he got to Africa, that's when the people started accusing him. And the reason is because Ikrimah was simple. And what we mean by simple, they say qalil al-aql. He was simple-minded. Khafif. He wasn't really solid in the way he thought. This is what he said. I'm not saying this is what Abu al-Aswad said. And we're going to see other people. But why did he say it? What does it mean that he was simple-minded? Does it mean he was retarded and drooling? No. He has a reason for why he said what he said. He says that Ikrimah was simple-minded. He didn't think things through. You see what I'm saying? He didn't think things all the way through. He had limited intellect and simple. He was a simpleton. Why? He might hear a hadith from two people. And then when he was asked about it, he would narrate it from this person. And then when he was asked about it later on, he would narrate it from that person. Like, you asked me a hadith, I say Uthaymeen said. He asked me the same question, I say Bin Baz said, and I say the same statement. Who did I hear it from?
Oh.
Or I am unreliable. As one time I said it was Uthaymeen, one time I said it was Bin Baz. You see what I'm saying? So that would make people do what? When I asked Abdul Hakim the same question, he said Bin Baz said it. No, it was Uthaymeen said it. Abdul Hakim don't know what he's talking about. Right? Listen, what did he say today? What did he say yesterday?
They both said it.
Maybe it is. That's what the person, that's what it's saying. Why did they call him a liar? Because today I told you I heard it from so-and-so, and tomorrow I told you I heard it from somebody different. And if I'm not a scholar of hadith, and you got to remember, Africa is on the outskirts. We're going to take this person and start thinking he's a what? He's a liar. So this is why he said he was simple-minded. He didn't think things through. You're narrating to these group of people. They're not in Medina. You're narrating to these people who don't know hadith like that, and you're giving them different versions of the narration. You see what I'm saying? What are they going to think about you? They're going to think about you a liar. You don't know what you're doing. Like, you're not solid in your hadith. So he said that if he was asked about a hadith, he would give it to it from one of the people. And then if he was asked after that, he would narrate it from the other. And so the people would say about him, look how big of a liar he is. Ma akdabuhu. How big of a liar is he? And they complained about him to Ismail ibn Ubaid al-Ansari. That's what always happens. There's another scholar in your town. Ikirmah, he said this, and then he said that. Sheikh, right? He narrated, look how big of a liar he is, man. We got to do something about Ikirmah, right? And this is what happens. Sometimes people have problems amongst contemporaries, right? This is what I'm talking about, the lessons we get from this. So they complained to Ismail ibn Ubaid al-Ansari. And they said, and Ismail ibn Ubaid al-Ansari was a person of righteousness and piety. And so he said, don't worry about it. I'll take care of him for you. And so he sent to Ikrimah. And he said to him, how did you hear this and this from Ibn Abbas? This statement from Ibn Abbas, what did you hear about it? What did you hear him say? And so Ikrimah said, I heard him say this and this. And so Ismail, he said, you told the truth about what you said about Ibn Abbas. And he says that Ibn Lahi'a,
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله.
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 أشهد أن محمدا رسول 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 الله.
حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة.
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله.
حي على الفلاح.
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله.
حي على الفلاح.
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله.
الله أكبر، الله أكبر.
الله أكبر، الله أكبر.
لا إله إلا الله.
لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. طيب, so this first narration of criticism, what were they criticizing about Ikrimah? His honesty, his precision, right? And we said to be thicker, you got to be what? Reliable and righteous. So now we see some people who criticized his reliability. But Abul Aswad is telling you he was still reliable. This is why they criticize his reliability. So you see the lesson. Somebody might criticize a person's reliability, but there's a reason, even though the person is still reliable. You see what I'm saying? Ibn Lahiyah, the narrator, he says that in Ikrimah, he used to also teach the opinion of Najda al-Hururi. Al-Hururiya are a group that is attributed to Najda al-Hururi, and these are the group of the Khawarij. They later become the Ibadiyya. You know, the Ibadiyya are still in existence today in Oman and in the southern eastern portion of Arabia, right? And they're the people who go back through Najda al-Hururi, the Khawarij. And so they say that Ikrimah, he used to teach the opinion of Najda al-Hururi. And he went to visit him and he lived with him for 6 months. Ikrimah lived with Najda for 6 months. And then when he came back to Ibn Abbas and gave him the salams, Ibn Abbas said, here comes this wicked guy.
Who said it?
Ibn Abbas. Right, but who said that he said that? Who was the narrator?
Okay.
Ibn Lahiyah. Ibn Lahiyah was what? Who was Ibn Lahiyah? We just said it. The guy who his wife did what?
Burned down his library.
And he had a bad memory. Ibn Lahiyah was weak in hadith because of this. So this information we need to verify. You see what I'm saying? Ibn Lahiyah is saying that he went to sit with Najda for 6 months, came back to Ibn Abbas, and Ibn Abbas said, here come this evil guy, criticizing Ikrimah. Maybe it's true. Or maybe Ibn Lahiyah made a mistake. You see what I'm saying? What we talked about, you need to verify the information. Also, in addition to verifying the information, you need to verify what was said. Did he say, here comes this khabith, or did he say, here comes the hadith? Ja'a hadha al-hadith. Ja'a al-hadith or ja'a al-khabith? Which one did he say? Because in some of the versions, some of the prints, it comes out ja'a al-hadith, i.e., the hadith have returned, talking about Ikrimah. You see what I'm saying? So this shows you like how to handle these situations. Even though you hear this statement that Ibn Abbas called Ikrimah khabith, you say what? Man, Ikrimah, what happened? But if it's true, what happened? He started sitting with the Mubtadi'ah. Sitting with the Mubtadi'ah can get you kicked out the group, right? Sitting with the Mubtadi'ah can get you kicked out the group of the Sunnis, can get you kicked out of the group of the Salafis. Be careful. He says that Sa'id ibn Abi Maryam, he said about Ibn Lahiyah, who said about Abu al-Aswad, that I was the first person to cause Ikrimah to go to Africa, or to go to the West, the Islamic West, the Maghrib. And that's because when he came to Egypt from Medina, I met Ikrimah. And he asked me about how the people of Morocco doing, how the people of the Islamic West doing. And so I informed him about how unaware they were of Islam. That's an important thing to remember. The people out there out west were what? Uninformed about Islam. Give knowledge its value. Put it with people who what? Who preserve it well and won't waste it. When you go and teach people who don't understand the religion, what will happen? This is a question. When you teach people who don't understand the religion, what will happen?
So many challenges.
They will misunderstand the religion. They will make mistakes about you, about what you say, about how you say it, and mess everything up. Wallahi, I personally believe that a lot of the fitna that exists amongst the Muslims and the Salafis today, it existed because they took us off the street. Us. They took us off the street. They brought us to Medina, mashallah, alhamdulillah, jazahum Allahu khair. What did we know about the religion? Nothing. We didn't know culture. We didn't know sunnah. We off the street, 18 years old, put us in Medina, put us with the mashayikh. And what do? Cause fitna. Because we don't know. And you see an example of this with who? With Ikrimah. He wanted to know about the people in the West, how they doing. Well, I mean, like the scenarios, the parallels. How are the people in the West doing? Man, they don't know nothing about the religion. You should go out there and teach them. He goes out there and teach them, and what do? They call him a liar. And from there, he starts to become the person that everybody is unsure about if he's good or not. Man, that's a parallel for me. Anyway, I can relate to that scenario. We should all be able, if you know the scenarios that go on anyway. He says, so he asked about the people in the West, and I told him how clueless they were. And so he went to them. And when he got there, the first thing that he started to teach them was the ra'i of a Sufariya. And the Sufariya are the Khawarij. And so if this statement is true, whose mistake was it? It was Ikrimah that started teaching him these bad ideas. Or maybe somebody misunderstood Ikrimah and started saying, well, this is what I learned from Ikrimah. Give an example. A person who doesn't pray is a kafir. That's an opinion, right? Or just different things that when we talk about it in religion, you know, may Allah curse, Allah has cursed the person who drinks alcohol. Sah walala. Who does Allah curse? No. Who does Allah curse? What did we just say? The person who drinks alcohol. He mean everybody who is involved in alcohol. People who get cursed are usually what? Kafirs. And so I teach this person this statement, Allah curses the drinker of alcohol. A person who is unaware of the religion might think I said what about that person? He's a kafir. And if they were unaware about the religion, and if Ikrimah was simple-minded, he didn't think things through, and he's teaching them this way, like Abu al-Aswad said, he's teaching them these things that are above their head. How do you think they're going to react to that information? Well, I learned this from Ikrimah. He said they were kafirs. Ikrimah never said they was kafirs. He said la'natullah. That's an example of how something like this could come to pass, to where if it's not true that Ikrimah was a Khariji, how could somebody think he was a Khariji? Man, you went to go visit the Khariji. You see what I'm saying? If that happened, you went to go visit a Khariji. Sitting with the people of innovation automatically cause you problems. Then you're not thinking, you're not being careful about how you're saying things. Then you're going to teach a group of people who don't understand the religion well. And then you're teaching them something maybe that they don't understand. And in a way that they don't understand how you're teaching. The people of Hadith know that if you said the Hadith this way today and that way tomorrow, what was it? Two different people, two different times, two different situations. But the people who don't understand, they think, well, no, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And like this, that bad sum'ah, that bad reputation begins to build about you. And then if I tell the third sheikh, man, you know, you heard Ikrimah is telling people they can, that whoever drinks alcohol is a kafir. He said that. Khariji. You see what I'm saying? Even though this person might have not have followed up and got Ikrimah's exact statement. This is just an example of how stuff like that happens. And that stuff happens today. And this story is an example of how to, like, learning it is how you learn to protect yourself from it. We're going to finish the rest after the salat, inshallah. We still got like 7 more pages. This was the middle. So 7 pages of praise. Now we got...
You have 9 more minutes.
Yeah, we'll continue reading till salat, inshallah. 7 more pages. I told you, if you don't like it, not if you don't like it, no, you got to make wudu. Go ahead.
It ain't gonna be enough time though.
Yeah, we still going to have to finish after the salat. But we'll continue until the salat, inshallah. So that was the statement they said that Ikrimah, when he got there to those people who didn't understand, he started teaching them the ra'i of a Sufariya. And a Sufariya are a group of the Khawarij. He says that Yaqub ibn Sufyan, he said that Ibn Bukair, we know Ibn Bukair. Ibn Bukair was one of the students of Imam Malik, one of the people who narrated the Muwatta. He was the scholar of Egypt. He said when Ikrimah came to Egypt, intending to go out west, intending to go to the Maghrib. And when they say the Maghrib, they mean Tunis and Libya, not Morocco, right? At that time, they're talking about Tunis and Libya. He said that he wanted to go out west. He stayed at this house. And he pointed to a house that was next door to the house of Ibn Bukair. Meaning Ibn Bukhair is saying, I know Ikrimah. He lived right next door to me when he came. And when he went out to Maghrib, the Khawarij that were in the Maghrib started learning from him. This is another example of how that information can start to get confusing. There were already Khawarij in Morocco, not in Morocco, in the Maghrib, in Libya and Tunis, right? One of the things that the people of innovation often do is they attach themselves to a person of knowledge. And if a person of knowledge is not competent about what they're doing, they use that person of knowledge as a medium to get their dawah propagated. We saw, like, for example, Jamaat al-Tabligh, what did they do? Well, Bin Baz said this, right? And we see it constantly. The people of innovation, they'll use a person of knowledge, attach themselves to them, make them seem like they're his students to propagate their bid'ah until that the teacher can get affected by it, especially if the teacher isn't thinking about the outcomes, which is what the criticism of Abul Aswad to Ikrimah was. Does that make Ikrimah a Khariji? It just makes him not paying attention to what was being done with him. And this is what Ibn Bukhair is saying. He says when Ikrimah came and he wanted to go to Maghrib, the Khawarij that were in Maghrib began to learn from him. Ali ibn al-Madini, he says that Ikrimah used to have the opinion of Najda al-Hururi, right? And so this is a major scholar saying, no, Ikrimah, he had this opinion. Abu Bakr ibn Abi Khaythama, he said, I heard Yahya ibn Ma'in, who said that the reason why Malik ibn Anas didn't like Ikrimah or didn't mention Ikrimah was because Ikrimah had the opinion of the Sufariya. And this is our connection here. Why didn't Imam Malik mention Ikrimah? Why did he say that Dawood ibn al-Hussein said, somebody told me? Because Malik didn't like Ikrimah. Why didn't Malik like Ikrimah? Because he was a liar? La. Because he had the opinion, in Malik's opinion, of the Khawarij, right? Even though, did Malik meet Ikrimah? When was Malik born? 94. 93, 94. When was Ikrimah? When did Ikrimah die? We didn't mention yet, but we said that Ikrimah, he died around 104. Malik would have been at most 10 years old. So he never actually met Ikrimah. He just heard what people said. And that shows you that a scholar sometimes can just take what people say about a person, right? Even though other people might say something else. This is Imam Malik, and Najm, he didn't like Ikrimah. And he's going to mention later on, where did Malik get this idea that Ikrimah wasn't a good person? He says that Umar ibn Qais al-Makki, he said about Atta that Ikrimah was an Ibadhi. Al-Ibadhi are a group of Khawarij. They exist today, like we said. They live in Oman, and they're worse today than they were back then, right? And they seem to be on the Sunnah. They act like they want to be on the Sunnah and things like that, but they're Mu'tazili, they're Ikhwani, they're Ibadhi, Takfiri, right? And so they say that Ikrimah was from this group. They say that Hassan ibn Atiyya al-Qurashi al-Kufi, he said, I heard Abu Maryam saying that Ikrimah was a Bayhasiyya, right? Al-Bayhasa is a group of Khawarij attributed to Abu Bayhas, right? And so they call him Al-Bayhasiyya, which is a group of Khawarij. This particular group doesn't exist anymore, but they were a group of Khawarij during that time. So all of these people are criticizing Ikrimah's his righteousness, attributing him to the Khawarij, right? Even though when he was in Mecca and he was in Medina before he left, nobody mentioned that about him. This is all happening after he went to Africa. They say that Ibrahim ibn Yaqub al-Jawzajani, he said that I asked Ahmed ibn Hanbal about Ikrimah. And he said that he used to have the opinion of the Ibadiyya. And so he said, it said that he was Sufariyan. And then he said that I said to Ahmed ibn Hanbal, when Ikrimah, when he went to go visit the Berberus, when he went to Western Africa, he said yes. And then he went to Khurasan, and he used to go visit the rulers and take from them, right? Ikrimah, he visited a lot of places, and he would visit the rulers and take from them. He would take the money that the rulers would give him as prizes and gifts, which is another thing that people would criticize, right? You're entering onto the rulers. You're traveling to meet the rulers. People will criticize it. I want you to remember that. Why would Ikrimah, a scholar, be going to meet these rulers and listening to the rulers and taking money from the rulers and having meetings with the rulers? This is something the Salaf they used to criticize. Not because of takfir and thing, but because the rulers, a lot of time, their money was unclear, it was uncertain. And to get money from them would be getting money in an unclear way, an uncertain way. I want you to remember this issue, because that's going to be something that gets brought back up later, because this whole exercise is teaching how to pay attention when there's criticism. What's the reason for it, and is it actually authentic, and is it actually valid, right? So one of the criticisms is he was takfiri, right? But we see where that might have came from. One of the criticisms, he was a liar. Is the AT&T? Yeah, no problem. You're good. And so now he's saying that he took from the rulers. He says that Ali ibn al-Madini, he said it was mentioned about Yaqub al-Hadrami on the authority of his grandfather. He said that Ikrimah stood at the door of the masjid, and he said there's nobody in it except kafirs. Right, now that statement, if it's true, that's a hard statement to get around, right? If that's true, then that would mean Ikrimah was a takfiri. He stood at the door of the masjid and said everybody inside's a kafir. Come on, Yahi, it's a masjid. But we still have to look at the way it was worded. Ali ibn al-Madini said it was mentioned that Yaqub al-Hadrami said about his grandfather. What do you automatically see right there? It was mentioned that Yaqub al-Hadrami said. What do you automatically see right there? Ali ibn al-Madini said it was mentioned. Who told Ali? We don't know. You see how, like, the people who criticize, Ali is mentioning what was said, but we don't know who said it. And so when you start looking at that criticism, you got to start verifying, is it authentic? Right? It was said that he stood in front of the masjid and said that everybody inside of it is a kafir. And Ali said that Ikrimah, he used to have the opinion of the Ibadiyya. Last one, we'll stop at this. He says that Khalal ibn Sulaiman al-Hadrami, he said that Khalid ibn Abi Imran, he entered, he said that Ikrimah, the freed slave of Ibn Abbas, he came to Africa during the time of Hajj. And he said, I wish that I was at the Hajj. I wish I was at the Mosim, and I had a spear in my hand so I could start poking to my right and to my left. And in another version it says, so that I can go to everybody who witnessed the Mosim. And Khalid, he said, and from that day and time, the people of Africa started not listening to him. Right? So if that statement is true, then that shows that maybe Ikrimah did have some of those tendencies. But we have to look and see, is that statement true? Right? Khalad ibn Sulaiman al-Hadrami on Khalid ibn Abi Imran, who says that Ikrimah came to us during the time of the religious holiday of Hajj. We'll stop there. We'll pick up after Salat, finishing the rest, inshallah. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Was it AT&T?
He said he's good with something. I don't know.
Yeah, just for his feet.
Yeah.
They got it.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya ala salah, hayya ala al-falah. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
تواصل واعتدلوا واستقيموا هذا بين المناكب والأقدام يسد الخلف. The router in the moment is inside there. We're about to pray, so if you need anything, just give us 5-10 minutes, we'll be done. Allahu Akbar. So always. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. صلوات. وأشهد أن اللهم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. استغفر الله. استغفر الله. استغفر الله. اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام تباركت يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، له الملك له الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. اللهم لا مانع لما أعطيت ولا معطي لما منعت ولا ينفع ذا الجد منك الجد. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. لا إله إلا الله ولا نعبد إلا إياه. له نعمته وله فضل وله ثناء الحسن. لا إله إلا الله مخلصين له الدين ولو كره الكافرون. اللهم أعني على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. السلام عليكم. طيب إن شاء الله نستدرك. نعم قاعد. Yeah, I'll be here for a minute, inshallah. نستدرك ونكمل inshallah. We try to finish up. Now, so we mentioned some of the statements of the people who said that Ikrimah was an Ibadi or Takfiri Khariji. But then we talked about like maybe the way that statement could be understood, why he was considered that, because interacting with some of them and some of their students taking from him and using him as a means to propagate. These could all be statements that could justify how Ikrimah was not a Khariji. Or it could be the case that he had some of their views, right? Nobody is perfect. He might have had some of their views. That doesn't make those views correct and acceptable. It just means that this was a mistake that Ikrimah made in spite of who he was in knowledge and understanding of the religion. So both of these things are possible. And it goes back to what we mentioned in the first place regarding how to deal with a scholar who is accused of something that he might be free of, or a scholar who is accused of something that he actually committed when his minhaj is sound, even though he made a mistake in the religion, right? And so after that, they mentioned a statement kind of in passing, but another criticism, right? They talked about the criticism and reliability. They talked about the criticism and righteousness. Another criticism and righteousness and reliability is a person who is in it for the money, or who goes to the rulers and the kings and the people of authority and takes their money. This is something that the Salaf used to disapprove of. And this is something that Ikrimah was known to have done. Naam. And then they mentioned about some of his statements that if they are true, then they're clear in the fact that he held these views. Then he goes on, he says, قال مصعب ابن عبد الله الزبيري كان إكرمة يرى رأي الخوارج وادعى على عبد الله بن عباس أنه كان يرى رأي الخوارج. He says that Mus'ab ibn Abdullah Zubayri, he says that Ikrimah, he used to have the opinion of the Khawarij. And he claimed that Abdullah ibn Abbas was also on the opinion of the Khawarij. And we see how these statements can get a foothold with some people. I don't know if you guys remember, what book were we doing at that time? وقالوا we were doing was it Adab al-Mufrad? Yes, no, I'm trying to remember. He says, and they say that Ibn Abbas has the, if it wasn't من كتب علما سئل عن, that was in Jami Bayan al-Ilm wa Fadlihi, right? One of the books we're going over online is Jami Bayan al-Ilm wa Fadlihi. Ibn Abbas had a statement that the people accused him of befriending the Khawarij. And Ibn Abbas, why did they accuse him of befriending the Khawarij? Because he used to write to them, i.e. to educate them about the truth of Islam and try to refute them. But the people who didn't understand, they said, Ra'a ibn Abbas ra'y al-Khawarij. That Ibn Abbas had the opinion of the Khawarij. He said, Wallahi, if it wasn't for a statement that I heard from the Prophet of Allah, the Messenger of Allah, I wouldn't talk to them ever. من سئل عن علم علمه فكتمه ألجم بلجام ألجم يوم القيامة بلجام من نار أو كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. And so the point is that you see how these statements can get conflated, can get established. You already got some people thinking Ibn Abbas, Yallah Yal Khawarij. And then you got Ikrimah, one of his main students. All of this stuff seems to be lining up, which would make people make those statements. And it'd be easy to get somebody to believe, because you got to remember, like, this is a time, there's no media, there's no social networking. A statement that is made in Africa could become so prominent that it makes its way back to the East as if you can't deny it. And we see it nowadays. How much, like, it's very easy nowadays for it to happen, right? Back then it used to only happen with popular people and, you know, but nowadays somebody can lie on you online and the next thing you know, everybody believes it and you're being canceled, right? Just because of one statement that somebody made about you. And so, did Ikrimah have these positions? It's a good possibility that he did, right? These are what a lot of the scholars later on will say. None of these claims about Ikrimah being a Khariji are founded. Majority of the scholars after will say that none of these claims of Ikrimah are founded. But it didn't stop the people at his time from repeating it and hearing it and being on it. And you can see how easy it would be. Well, Ibn Abbas, you know, and Ikrimah, well, right? And like this person, Mus'ab ibn Abdullah Zubairi, he says that Ikrimah, he used to have the opinion of the Khawarij, and he claimed that Abdullah ibn Abbas also had the opinion of the Khawarij. He says that Qala Abu Khalif Abdullah ibn Isa al-Kharraz said about Yahya al-Bukka, I heard Ibn Umar saying, so Yahya al-Bukka, he said, I heard Ibn Umar saying to Nafi, oh Nafi, fear Allah. What's wrong with you? Don't kill you. Don't destroy yourself. Wayhak, out of compassion. Oh Nafi, fear Allah. Don't destroy yourself, oh Nafi. Don't lie about me the way that Ikrimah lied about Ibn Abbas. You hear that? You say what? It's the Sahabi, the Nasik, criticizing Ikrimah. Ikrimah must be what? If the highest scholar of his time, who's bigger than Ibn Umar at his time? Right? Nobody. Maybe Anas ibn Malik, right? But these are the last of the Sahaba. He said, oh Nafi', don't lie on me the way Ikrimah lied on Ibn Abbas. But you got to read the whole statement because it changes your perception. The way he made sarf permissible. Sarf is when you exchange gold or silver for one another, right? They call that in Arabic sarf, change, masraf, currency exchange. Ibn Abbas used to have the opinion that I can give you 1 ounce of gold for 2 ounces of gold as long as we do it right now. As long as we do it right now, I can give you 1 ounce of gold for 2 ounces of gold. It's called Rib al-Fadl. You say, what's the point of it? Is all gold the same color? Does all gold look the same? Is it all as clean as the other? You see what I'm saying? Maybe you have some gold ore, right? And I have some gold coins. Well, I don't want your gold ore. I can't spend that in the marketplace because gold, the value of it is in what? The way it looks. You got this unrefined gold that weighs 10 grams. And I got these gold coins that weigh 10 grams. No. If I'm going to give you my gold coins, I want 20 grams of gold ore. But in Islam, that is what? It's haram. Al-dhahab bil-dhahab, it has to be the same amount. If it's not the same amount, they call it riba fadl, the usury of increasement. Maybe you have some majdul dates, you know, the ones they eat in Ramadan. And I got some sukri dates. And you can't get no sukri dates. So you want to exchange some dates for mine for dates of yours. I say, if I give you my majdul dates, right, I want twice as many of your sukri dates or vice versa. That's haram. That's called riba fadl. Ibn Abbas, he used to say that was okay. Originally, Ibn Abbas said that was okay, and then he changed his mind. he agreed with the rest of the Muslims who said that that's haram. The rest of the Muslims said it was haram. Ibn Abbas had a different opinion. Then he changed his mind. Now there's a consensus. Like Ikrimah is his student. Ikrimah was his student who kept his opinion, right? It doesn't affect the consensus because Ikrimah isn't from the generation of Ibn Abbas. So Ikrimah's opinion goes against the consensus. That's an usuli issue. But Ikrimah still had that opinion. Did Ibn Abbas have that opinion anymore? But Ikrimah still says Ibn Abbas had this opinion. What did Ikrimah do?
Here's what happened. I'll tell you what happened. He didn't hear about the opinion change.
He heard about it. If he didn't hear about it directly, he heard about it from other people because this is something they criticized about him.
How you know that? How do you heard it?
We're going to talk about it later, but I'm getting your mind state to understand what did Ikrimah do when he would tell him that Ibn Abbas said that you could do this.
According to them, he lied.
But is it a lie?
No, it's not actually.
You see my point? But according to us, the people who have the other opinion, what might we say? Man, what's up with Ikrimah lying on Ibn Abbas like that? He know he changed his mind. You see what I'm saying? But Ikrimah's like, no, that was the opinion of Ibn Abbas. It's similar to what we talk about Shafi'i. Shafi'i changed his mind in so many opinions. He has his old madhab and his new madhab, but there's still Shafi'is who follow who? The old madhab of Shafi'i, right? They still teach it in the books. This was the old opinion, this is the new opinion, and there's some who still follow. Did they lie on Shafi'i and said that wasn't his opinion? The problem is that you see how the Salaf were a lot stricter, right? No, you know he changed his mind. Don't say that about him. But Ikrimah continued. And so this is another example of why somebody might criticize Ikrimah. Is it the best thing that Ikrimah did, keeping this opinion? No, that opinion is wrong. It goes against the consensus. You see what I'm saying? It goes against the ijma'. But the science, all the rules and regulations of ijma', were they detailed yet? No, so he's not bound by what we talk about later on. But the point of it is that you can see how somebody can say Ikrimah lied. You see what I'm saying? And so Ibn Umar, when he says don't lie, when he says to Nafi, don't lie on me the way Ikrimah lied on Ibn Abbas, is he calling Ikrimah a liar and everything? Or is he talking about this issue? Right? Don't lie on me the way Ikrimah lied on Ibn Abbas, the way he says that doing sarf is halal. Or the way that he gave the son to a currency exchange person. I don't understand what this statement means. Or وَأَسْلَمَ إِبْنَهُ صَيْرَفِيًّا, and he let his son go learn from a money manager, right? A sayrafi, a person who does this transaction. He let his son go get a job doing that, right? Don't lie on me like Ikrimah, right? Don't tell the people that I said this was halal when you know I said it was haram. But that's not calling Ikrimah a liar in all things. But if I tell you this statement, Ibn Abbas said Ikrimah is a liar, what do you do with that? I'm sorry, not Ibn Abbas. If I tell you this statement, Ibn Umar says Ikrimah is a liar, what do you do with that? What do you do with it? Right now, I tell you, Ikrimah said Ibn Umar said Ikrimah was a liar. Oh, it's verified. It's authentic.
What did he say? About what?
Is that what you really do? I want you to be honest. You're in this situation. Abdul Muhsin al-Abbas says so-and-so's a liar. What do you do? So-and-so's a liar.
And he's a sheikh.
I just told you Abdul Muhsin al-Abbas. Sheikh Salih Fawzan said so-and-so's a liar.
To a sheikh.
Huh? To a sheikh. I told you Sheikh Rabi Hafidhullah said so-and-so's a liar. What do you do? He's a liar. Because this is the greatest sheikh of his time, Ibn Umar, telling you Ikrimah's a liar. Do you look for more context clues or try to figure it out? Or you just say, Ikrimah must be a liar. You think Ibn Umar don't know? But did I tell you what Ibn Umar said all the way? Did I give you the context of what? I was like, no, I'm gonna get the context. I'm gonna understand what did he say? That's what you should do. But how many people, Sheikh so-and-so said so-and-so's a liar, khalas, that's the end of the conversation. You see what I'm saying? It's about how you handle that situation. Why did Ibn Umar call Ikrimah a liar? Right? Was he calling him a liar in all things? Because if a person is a liar, can you take their hadith? No. So why are all of these people still taking Ikrimah's hadith if Ibn Umar called him a liar? You got a Sahabi calling him a liar. Why are we still taking his hadith? Obviously, there's another meaning here. And so somebody who just wants to say Ikrimah is a liar, they're going to promote this statement. Well, Ikrimah is a liar. Ibn Umar said it. But when you look practically, and this is why it's so important to look at other scholars, right? How did they take the statement of Ibn Umar? How did other scholars take the statement of Fawzan? How did other scholars take the statement of Abu Muhsin? How did other scholars take the statement of Sheikh Rabi'? It's not just for us to just get it and then just start running with it. Let's look at it, because if not, we're going to fall into the same thing in our time that they fell into during the time of Ikrimah. And what happened to the people who didn't write from Ikrimah? They missed out 2/3 of the knowledge. Wallahi, you see this practically happening. What happened to the people who missed out from Sheikh so-and-so? Sheikh so-and-so comes to their city to give a lesson, to give lectures, and they don't go. What do they miss out? They miss out on the knowledge. They hurt. And so we have to learn how to handle this, and we have to promote to the people how to handle these situations. This is the reason why I wanted to read the whole biography of Ikrimah. Now, so that was what Ibn Umar, he said about Ikrimah. Now, he says that Ibrahim ibn Sa'd, he said on the authority of his father that Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib, khalas, Ibn Umar, that's something. But Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib, the king of the Tabi'in, the leader of the Tabi'in, right? He said to his slave, or a young boy of his, a slave boy of his, named Burd. He said, Burd, don't lie about me the way Ikrimah lied about Ibn Abbas. Sa'id ibn Musayyib did not like Ikrimah. You remember that last statement from Ibn Umar? The one we just said about Ibn Umar. Don't lie, talking to Nafi, don't lie on me the way. Right, you remember it, right? You remember the understanding we gave of it, right? All of that is based on if it's what? Ishaq ibn Isa ibn al-Tabba', he said, I asked Malik. Does Malik like Ikrimah? He said, I asked Malik, has it reached you that Ibn Umar said to Nafi', don't lie about me the way Ikrimah lied about Ibn Abbas? Malik said, no, that never reached me. Even though he didn't like Ikrimah, I'm not going to lie. He said, what reached me was that Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib, he said that to Burd, his freed slave. So you see that statement that the person was trying to propagate about Ikrimah ibn Umar? Malik didn't believe it to be the truth. But it's still, everybody says it. If you go to read a biography of Ikrimah, if somebody tries to tell you something bad about Ikrimah, the first thing they're going to say is Ibn Umar said, Ikrimah's a liar. There are a group of people like this who do this to this day about Ikrimah, about Abu Hanifa, about Bukhari, right? If you don't know these things, they'll get you to act this way. The statement wasn't even true to begin with. Malik said that. The Malik didn't know about it. He don't like Ikrimah. You know what I'm saying? If it was true, you think Malik wouldn't have known about that information? Right? Now, we got a chain that says that Ibn Umar said it, but now we got to look at the chain. The chain was Abu Khalif Abdullah ibn Isa al-Kharraz. He said that Yahya al-Buka said that I heard Ibn Umar. Right? And we got to figure out where did al-Maqdisi get this chain from. So you got to go back to Jarh wa Ta'dil al-Thiqat and find the isnad to this isnad. You see what I'm saying? But Malik is saying, no, that's not a true statement in the first place. Instead, it was the statement of Sa'id ibn Musayyib. And I see how you can get them mixed up. Sa'id ibn Musayyib was the Imam of Medina, right? It's easy to misplace the two of them, right? You just remember somebody important in Medina said it, right? And so you defaulted to Ibn Umar instead of Sa'id ibn Musayyib. Even though the chain said, I heard Ibn Umar say it, we got to look at it. The point of it is, he says that Jarir ibn Abdul Hamid, he said that Yazid ibn Abi Ziyad, a famous scholar, he said, I entered upon Ali ibn Abdullah ibn Abbas. Ali ibn Abdullah ibn Abbas is the one who did what? Who freed Ikrimah. Remember, he sold him to Khalid ibn Yazid ibn Muawiyah, and then he was criticized, so he bought him back and he freed him. Ibn Abi Ziyad, he's saying, I entered upon Ali ibn Abdullah ibn Abbas, and Ikrimah was tied up in the garden. I entered upon him and Ikrimah was tied up in the garden. And I said, what did he do? He said, this guy is lying about my father. Right? I tied him up as punishment for lying about my father. Right? He says that Hisham ibn Sa'ad, he said about Ata al-Khurasani, he said, I said to Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib, indeed, Ikrimah, the freed slave of Ibn Abbas, he claims that the Messenger of Allah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he married Maymuna while he was making Hajj, while he was in Ihram. Sa'id ibn Musayyib, he said he's a liar. Wicked. Go to him and curse him. And I'm going to tell you what really happened. The Messenger of Allah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was in a state of Ihram, but then when he came out of it, he married Maymuna. Like, why do you call him a liar? Why do you call him a liar? Because he got the hadith wrong. Liar doesn't mean liar the way you thinking that he's a purposefully trying to lie about the religion. Or were they that severe about the hadith? You get the hadith wrong, you liar. Like Aisha, other Sahaba, whoever said this about the Prophet, then he's a liar. All right, you got it wrong. Was Ikrimah the only person to get that wrong? Or did Ibn Umar get it wrong too? Right? There's other people who said that the Prophet married Maymuna when he was in Ihram. They're wrong because you can't marry when you're in Ihram based on another hadith. But there's other people who said it. But now you see, why is Ikrimah calling him a liar? Is it because he's a liar about everything? Or is it maybe that he criticized him in this hadith and other hadiths specifically that made him think that way? You see what I'm saying? And who doesn't make mistakes? That's if we are justifying Ikrimah, which we are, because everybody after him justified it. Now, he says that Shu'bah, he said about Amr ibn Murrah, he said, I asked a guy about, a man asked Sa'id ibn Musayyib about the ayat in the Quran, and he said, don't ask me about the Quran. Why don't you go ask the guy who claims nothing about the Quran is hidden from him? I.e. Ikrimah. Is that praise or criticism? That's criticism. Don't ask me about it. Go ask the guy who claims he know everything in the Quran. You're not going to get me to talk about something that I should not be talking about. The Salaf used to have a problem with you bumping your gums. You start telling hadith all the time. Do we like it or not? No. Right? Somebody who narrates 5,000 hadith, they criticize Abu Hurairah. This is Abu Hurairah and they criticize. They say Abu Hurairah narrates too many hadith. Right? Ikrimah over here talking, you know the whole tafsir of the Quran, you know every ayat, everything. Don't ask me about tafsir. That's not my thing. Go ask the one who claims that there's no ayat except that he knows. Go ask the guy who said he taught Ibn Abbas. Go ask the guy who said he taught Ibn Abbas tafsir. Go ask him. It's criticism. But is it like the worst criticism? Is it he's a fasik, kafir, evil guy? No, it's just some of his qualities I don't like. It happens between contemporaries. Qala Fitr ibn Khalifa, he said, I said to Ata, indeed, Ikrimah, he says that Ibn Abbas said, the book of Allah takes precedence over wiping over the socks. What does the book of Allah say? Wash your feet. No. Doesn't say that according to them. The book of Allah says, and wash your feet. It doesn't even say wipe your feet. It just has a kesra on the word feet. And some of them say the kesra is from mujawara because it came after a word with kesra. So instead of going feta, feta, kesra, feta, it's just easy to go feta, feta, kesra, kesra. But the Prophet explained the feet should be washed. And all he ever did was wash his feet. That's why the Hanafis, they say wiping, no. And a lot of the Shia, they say no wiping.
Shia wipe.
No. They wipe their foot.
Yeah, they wipe.
But they don't believe in wiping over the socks. That's why you find some of the Salaf mentioning it in the books of Aqidah, wiping over the socks. Ikrimah said what? The book of Allah takes precedence over wiping. Allah said in the Quran, wash your feet. That's what Ikrimah said, Ibn Abbas said. And there's a statement of Ibn Abbas. He says the ayat of Allah says wiping, but the people all refuse except to wash. This is the statement of Ibn Abbas. The ayat of Allah says wipe, but everybody refuses except to wash. So this was the statement of Ikrimah. I see how Ibn Abbas' statement could be taken that way. The book of Allah takes precedence over wiping. Maybe he added the word khufs because he didn't understand. But the book of Allah takes precedence over what I might think is the right thing to do, which is just wipe over the feet. And maybe he added the word khufs. So that's what Ikrimah said. And so I thought he said Ikrimah lied. See the statement again? See the same theme? Does he mean he's a liar, or does he mean he made a mistake? He said Ikrimah lied. I heard Ibn Abbas saying wipe it over your 2 socks or your leather socks, even if you just came out of the toilet. Right? Even though you just was walking in the toilet with them on, no problem. Wipe over them. It don't even matter. But I see how Ikrimah might make that mistake. Ibn Abbas has a statement. The book of Allah says wipe, and everybody's refused except to wash. And maybe Ikrimah understood wipe leather socks instead of wipe on the foot, which is what Ibn Abbas was talking about. And then I thought saying, no, I heard Ibn Abbas saying you can wipe. Ikrimah lied, i.e. Ikrimah was wrong. He says that Muslim ibn Khalid az-Zanji, he said that Abdullah ibn Uthman ibn Khuthaym, he said that I was sitting with Sa'id ibn Jubair, and Ikrimah passed by, and with him were a lot of people. And so Sa'id, he said to us, go stand and go to him, go to Ikrimah. And remember what you ask him, and remember how he answers you. He said, so we all went to Ikrimah and we asked him about things, and he gave us answers. And then when we came back to Sa'id ibn Jubair, we informed him of what he said, and he said he lied. Right? Sa'id ibn Jubair called him a liar. But Sa'id ibn Jubair also said
He made a mistake.
Made a mistake or lied. Right? You see what I'm saying? Like, you have to understand, because if I just tell you that statement, you'd be like, well, Sa'id ibn Jubair said he was a liar. But Sa'id ibn Jubair also said, right? So you got to put all of these things in context. He says that Bishr ibn Mufaddal, he said about Abdullah ibn Uthman ibn Khuthaym, who said, I asked Ikrimah, me and Abdullah ibn Sa'id, about the statement of Allah Ta'ala, وَالنَّخْلْ بَاسِقَاتٍ لَهَا طَلْعٌ نَضِيدٌ, right? And the date palms that are basiqat, and they have fruits that are in bunches, nadid. And so Ikrimah, he said, busuquha ka busuq an-nisa inda wiladatiha. How are they basiqat? They're basiqat, they're shooting out liquid the same way the women shoot out liquid when they're pregnant. Right? Basiqat is like a woman who has milk in her breast. And then he says, and I went back to Sa'id ibn Jubair and I mentioned that to him, and he said he's lied. Kadhab. Busuquhunna tuluhunna. The fact that these date palm trees are basiq, i.e. it means they're tall. Was Ikrimah a liar? That's just a difference of opinion. Like, he got a mistake about basiqat. This is what the word can mean in the language, but he's saying, no, he lied, i.e. he made a mistake. You got to understand that. He says that Israel ibn Abdul Karim al-Jazari, he said that about Ikrimah, who said he used to dislike renting land. Renting land. If you got a piece of land, can you rent it out to somebody? Ikrimah disliked that. And so he said, I mentioned that to Sa'id ibn Jubair. And he said, Kadhaba Ikrimah. Right? I heard Ibn Abbas saying, the best thing that you all can do is rent out empty land year by year. We see how these fiqh issues can make people argue and get people to start saying things where it's like, okay, that doesn't make him a deviant, it doesn't make him shout out, doesn't make him a liar just because he has a different opinion. He says that Muslim ibn Ibrahim said about Silt ibn Dinar, Abi Shu'aib al-Majnoon. He said, I asked Muhammad ibn Sirin about Ikrimah. And so he said, it doesn't make me sad that he would be from the people of Jannah. Right? I don't want him to go to hell. It doesn't make me sad that he would be from the people of Jannah, but he's a liar. Right, that statement is pretty clear. Right, he didn't say he lied or he made a mistake. He said kadhab. I don't want him to be from I don't want him to not be from the people of paradise. But he is a liar. That's the statement of Muhammad ibn Sirin. Adam, he said about Sult ibn Dinar, he said, I said to Muhammad ibn Sirin, indeed, Ikrimah is causing us a lot of problems. Ikrimah is constantly saying these statements. We know it's wrong. He's causing us a lot of problems. وَيُسْمِعُنَا مَا نَكْرَهُ. And we hear from him things we don't like. We hear these hadith that he's saying that he's wrong about. And so Muhammad ibn Sirin, he said about him a small statement. He said a light statement about him. The statement that you're about to hear is a light statement. He said, I ask Allah to cause him to die and allow us to relax from him. I ask Allah to cause him to die and relieve us of him. That was a light statement from Muhammad ibn Sirin. What does that tell you about Muhammad ibn Sirin? He might have been one of those guys who said hard statements. If this was a light statement of his, aren't some people like that? Some people, Sheikh Muqbil rahimahullah ta'ala, you know what he used to say? May Allah guide him or break his back. This was the dua of Sheikh Muqbil when somebody would do innovation. Allahumma ihdihi aw qasim dhahra. Oh Allah, guide him or break his back. Sheikh Muqbil was a little bit, you see what I'm saying? A little bit tough, a little bit rough, right? There's people like that. Muhammad ibn Sirin might be from this way, right? Imam Malik was kind of like this. Imam Malik called Muhammad ibn Ishaq a Dajjal. Muhammad ibn Ishaq, the one who wrote the book about the Seerah, he said he's a Dajjal from the Dajjajila. This guy's a Dajjal. No, because he did it from the aspect of hadith. I'm warning you against a person who I believe is weak, preserving the religion. Now, Muhammad ibn Ishaq, was he weak? No, he's a scholar, Imam. But Imam Malik said about him, Dajjal from the Dajjajila. He's a Dajjal. Now, Muhammad ibn Ishaq, was he perfect? Some say he used to listen to music. Right? The people of Medina had a problem with music. They used to listen to music. He used to rent girls and have them sing.
Rent girls?
Yeah, rent girls, pay for them, and have them sing. You see what I'm saying?
Just singing?
Yeah.
Not instruments? Though?
Not singing. Akhi, what do you mean, just singing?
Huh?
What you mean, just singing? Astaghfirullah. Dajjal from the Dajjajila. No, it's a bad thing, right?
Singing?
Yeah, you can't sing.
So he wrote the Seerah.
He wrote the Seerah. That's the book.
But he would rent girls to sing.
Some of them say he would rent girls to sing. You got to do the same principles. You got Hamza Abu Zayyat. He drunk alcohol for 40 years. He's one of the narrators in the different qira'at of the Quran. He drunk alcohol for 40 years.
Non-alcoholic.
Huh?
Non-alcoholic?
No, he drunk alcohol for 40 years. Nabi. He's one of the Qurra. Hamza. Qira'atu Hamza and Khalaf. Right? And he has his own.
Good at it.
Huh?
He was good.
He's one of the
And
the different seven seven qira'at of the Quran. He's one of them.
so he's not.
He's Imam Hamza.
Okay, but he's not doing.
He drank alcohol for 40 years. La'natullah, the one who drinks alcohol, he must be a kafir, right? He drank alcohol because that was the madhab of Abu Hanifa. He thought it was okay to drink alcohol. He later made Tawbah. You know what he did after he made Tawbah? Made up 40 years of salah. Different people. If I committed a sin today that I was on for 10, 15 years and then I made Tawbah, what I'm going to do?
Not do it again?
Alhamdulillah, I'm not going to do it again, inshallah. Right? Let alone make up all the salat I missed during that time, because if you're drunk, can you pray salat? So he made up 40 years of salat. They're different people. Even in their mistakes and even in their sins, they were righteous. You see what I'm saying? So this example of him saying the light statement of Muhammad ibn Sirin, maybe he was a little bit harsh, right? So you got to know that when you take his statement. If he was a harsh person, him saying, I wish he would die, doesn't make him the worst person ever. Just like Imam Malik, when he called Muhammad ibn Ishaq a Dajjal, it doesn't make Muhammad ibn Ishaq the worst person ever. You see what I'm saying? Did Imam Malik approve of him? No. But that statement, you can't call him a Dajjal based on that statement because Imam Malik said so. Imam Malik's a little bit harsh. You see what I'm saying? Sheikh so-and-so has a little bit of harshness in him, has a little bit of roughness in him. Right? He can be the scholar of his time, and he can be a little rough. And we can say that in the appropriate places and circles. You see what I'm saying? Now, he says that Wuhayb ibn Khalid, he said that I heard Yahya ibn Sa'id and Ayyub who mentioned Ikrimah. And so Yahya said he was a liar. And so Ayyub, he says he wasn't a liar.
Oh, there you go.
We got people arguing, disagreeing. Do I got to agree with Ayyub or Yahya? Who's better? They both imams. Who you going to side with? Yahya bin Sa'id al-Ansari or Ayyub al-Sakhtiyani? Who you going to take their side? Akhi, they both imams. I'm going to get out the way. And I'm going to say I love Yahya, I love Ayyub. And Ayyub loved Ikrimah. If you love Ikrimah, I'm not going to be mad at you. And if you don't like Ikrimah, because you say, nah, I listen to Yahya bin Sa'id, I'm not going to be mad at you. And that's how we should act towards our brothers if they disagree with us about a person. Instead of, you don't listen to me, you got doubts. You're unclear. There's things about you I'm uncertain of. You see what I'm saying? That's how they, Allah musta'an. Let's finish up. We got to hurry up. He says that Abu Bakr Ismaili, he said about Imran ibn Musa al-Sakhtiyani, about Ibrahim ibn al-Mundhir al-Hizami, who said about Hisham ibn Abdullah ibn Ikrimah al-Makhzumi, who said that I heard Ibn Abi Dhi'b. He said, I saw Ikrimah, the freed slave of Ibn Abbas. Oh, I skipped a statement. No, I didn't. He said, I saw Ikrimah, the freed slave of Ibn Abbas, and he was not thiqah. Ibn Abi Dhi'b said he was not thiqah. He said that Abu Ja'far al-Uqayli, he said about Muhammad ibn Zurayq, who said about Ibn Jami al-Madini, who said that Ibrahim ibn al-Mundhir, same Rawi, who said about Hisham ibn Abdullah, who said that Ibn Abi Dhi'b, same person, he said that Ikrimah, the freed slave of Ibn Abbas, was thiqah. So Allahu a'lam. That's what he says. So Allah knows best, right? We see so many people with multiple statements about this person. He says that Dhamra ibn Rabi'a said about Raja ibn Abi Salama, who said that I heard Ibn Aoun, who said the people who left Ayyub, the people did not leave Ayyub except because he reported to them narrations that he didn't want to, right? The people started abandoning Ayyub because he would tell them things that he didn't really want to, i.e. the hadith of Ikrimah. Right? They would ask him about the hadith of Ikrimah. He'd tell them, and then other people would get mad and not want to listen to Ayyub because he's talking about Ikrimah. He said that Dhamra said also that Dawood ibn Abi Hind, he said, do you narrate on Ikrimah? It was said to Dawood ibn Abi Hind, do you narrate from Ikrimah? He said, this is the actions of Ayyub. He said Ikrimah, so we say Ikrimah. Meaning Dawood ibn Abi Hind, he might narrate a hadith and he would mention Ikrimah in it. And somebody, oh, you narrating from Ikrimah? Like, look, that's what Ayyub said. We're just telling you what Ayyub said. What you want us to do? Take him out the chain? Like Imam Malik? You want us to take him out the chain? That's what he said. I'm going to just tell you what he said. He said that Ibrahim ibn al-Mundhir al-Hizami, he said about Ma'an ibn Isa and Mutarraf ibn Abdullah al-Madani and Muhammad ibn al-Dhahhak al-Hizami, they all said that Malik used to not think that Ikrimah was thiqah. And he would command people to not take from Ikrimah. Malik used to not think that Ikrimah was thiqah, and he would command people, don't take nothing from anything with Ikrimah in it, get rid of it. You can't take anything from Ikrimah. That was a statement of Malik. But Malik took from Ikrimah. Most of the time he wouldn't mention him, but there is a spot in his book where he did mention him. We're going to talk about that later. Maybe not in this class. I don't want to bore y'all all day. He says that Abbas ad-Duri, he said that Yahya ibn Ma'in, he said that Malik ibn Anas used to dislike Ikrimah. I said, indeed, فَقَدْ رَوَى عَنْ رَجُلٍ عَنْ. He said, Yahya said, but I say he narrated from somebody on Ikrimah. And so he said, Abbas ad-Duri said, yes, small stuff. This narration that we got from Dawood ibn Hussein, big thing or small stuff? Small stuff. Linguistical stuff. It's not a hadith. You know what I'm saying? He would narrate small stuff from it. Ain't important who it come from. You see what I'm saying? It's just tafsir. Don't matter where it come from. And we know that the scholars had a different approach with tafsir than they did about hadith. So now you see why Imam Malik might narrate. He said, Muhammad ibn Ali ibn al-Madini, he said that I heard my father, Ali ibn al-Madini, he said that Malik would not name Ikrimah in anything. He would never mention Ikrimah's name. When he would narrate a narration, he wouldn't mention Ikrimah's name. in anything from his books except the hadith of Thawr and Ikrimah on Ibn Abbas regarding a man who approaches his wife while he is in a state of ihram, which is the hadith in Muwatta, the one hadith where Ikrimah is mentioned, right? On Thawr and Ikrimah. And he said that he should fast and give a hedi. He should fast and pay and give the expiation. He said, يعني Ali ibn Madini فكأنه ذهب إلى أنه يرى رأي الخوارج. And it's as if Imam Malik felt that Ikrimah had the opinion of the Khawarij. And he used to say about him in his book, a guy. Right? A guy said. Right? So this shows us that Imam Malik wouldn't narrate for him. I'll just say it real quick because I don't want to take time talking about it later on, just for the sake of benefit. From the reasons why you don't mention somebody's name. They have something beneficial, but they are a deviant. You don't want to lose the benefit, but you don't want to promote a deviant. So you mention the benefit without mentioning the name of the person. Another reason you might do it is to get the benefit out, but the people don't like the person. The person is good, but the people don't like him. Like Ibn Taymiyyah. Instead of saying Ibn Taymiyyah to some people or Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab to some people, I'll say a guy said, and oh, that sounds good. The next thing you know, they find out. If I say Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab said, they might say, I don't want to hear it. You see what I'm saying? So the guy is good, but I want the people to accept it. Sometimes the information is good, but the guy isn't good. And so I'll give the information while hiding the guy so nobody gets a fitna from that guy. I might say one of them said, establish the Dawla of Islam in your hearts. The Dawla of Islam will be established on your land. You ever heard that statement before? Establish the kingdom of Islam in your heart. Allah will establish the kingdom of Islam on your earth. You ever heard that statement before? It's a good statement. Scott Albani used to mention it all the time. It was said by a deviant. But we won't tell you, so you'll know that, right? So you'll take the benefit and not promote the deviant. Another reason, this is the last one we'll mention, why you mention the benefit without mentioning the person is because you're the person.
You're the deviant?
No, you're the person who mentioned the benefit, and you don't want to promote yourself. So you'll say, like, some of them said this line of poetry. Some of them said this beneficial statement. And you're mentioning it that way because you don't want to big up yourself. Aisha said the Prophet ﷺ would go and kiss some of his wives and then go make salat. Urwa said, nah, I know it was you. You see what I'm saying? So those are reasons why you might mention. So why did Malik mention this person in his book if he thought he was a deviant?
He didn't want to promote him.
But he needed the benefit. All right? I want the benefit, but I don't want to promote him. Somebody might say, maybe Malik changed his mind. I don't think that that's the case. Malik narrated the Muwatta for 40 years. He could have put his name back in the book. I don't think Malik changed his mind. I think Malik died thinking Ikrimah was a deviant. But he would narrate from him. And even one time he mentioned his name. Right? طيب, let's finish up. He says that Rabi ibn Sulaiman said about a Shafi'i who said that he, i.e. Malik ibn Anas, had a bad opinion about Ikrimah. And so if Shafi'i is saying this in Egypt to Rabi', this shows you that Malik might have died with that opinion. So we can't try to like whitewash it and say nobody had a problem with with Ikrimah. No, people died not liking Ikrimah. And that's okay. It's okay. We don't have to justify the scholar's position who died not liking him to make the scholar still acceptable. Are any of us going to have a problem with Malik? But Malik didn't like Ikrimah. That's his prerogative. You see what I'm saying? We don't have to hate Imam Malik because he didn't like Ikrimah. You see what I'm saying? And we don't have to try to justify. Ibn Abi Shaybah died. A lot of the Salaf died without liking Abu Hanifa. Do we got to whitewash it to make it seem like they all loved Abu Hanifa? No, they didn't.
Imam Ahmed didn't like him?
Imam Ahmed didn't have a statement. Imam Ahmed was balanced. But a lot of people died not liking Abu Hanifa.
Even cursing him?
I don't know about cursing him, but Sufyan al-Thawri might have died cursing him. He said, I cursed Abu Hanifa 3 times. Right? So the point is, but does that mean we got to dislike Abu Hanifa us? We look at how the other scholars approach this. You see what I'm saying? Anyway, he says that Imam Malik had a bad opinion about Ikrimah. This is the statement of a Shafi'i. He said Imam Malik had a bad opinion about Ikrimah. And he said that I don't believe that anybody should accept his hadith. Imam Malik said, I don't believe anybody should accept his hadith. He said that Hanbal ibn Ishaq, he said about Ahmed ibn Hanbal, who said that Ikrimah i.e. Ibn Khalid al-Makhzumi, a different Ikrimah, is more reliable than Ikrimah, the freed slave of Ibn Abbas. Right? He also said, i.e. Imam Ahmed also said, Hanbal ibn Ishaq, he also said, I asked Abu Abdullah, i.e. Imam Ahmed, he said Ikrimah is unstable in his hadith. And they disagree about him, so I don't know. Why is he unstable?
He's not reliable.
Why?
He's a liar.
Sometimes he narrates the hadith from this person, and sometimes he narrates the hadith from this person. He heard it from both people. But a person who doesn't know would consider that instability. You see what I'm saying? Wa alaikum salam to Allah. Let's finish up. He says, Ayyub, he said about Qatada, I've never memorized from Ikrimah except one bait of poetry. I got to pick up my daughter. I want to finish this, but we'll finish it later. There's still a lot more benefits here in this biography of Ikrimah, but we got 5 more pages. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Imagine if somebody wrote this at like a masjid or something, like a deviant masjid.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, oh man, look where he's teaching at, you know.
Exactly.
But he's just doing that for dawah and just to spread the knowledge.
Ikrimah, he went to Africa amongst... You see what I'm saying? Like, all of these things happen. Like, who is his students? I can give tons of examples.
They don't benefit from him, like if he's going, you know what I mean?
This is why we study this. This is like specifically this biography. Because any Salafi worth his salt can't talk about Ikrimah. He can't. Your religion, there are aspects of your religion that are dependent on Ikrimah. Tafsir. You don't read any book of tafsir except every other statement is Ikrimah. You see what I'm saying? The biography of the Prophet, halal and haram. It's Ikrimah. We all know Ikrimah was a good guy. And every Salafi after these generations all agree about Ikrimah. Fiqh. But this is what happened during his time. Ijma'an people, I don't know. But the point of it is that you can see how this stuff happens. And if you know this information, like we haven't even gotten to the end of it. The real reason I wanted to read the whole biography is because of the last statement Al-Maqdisi makes. Al-Maqdisi, at the end of it, he makes a statement that puts it all into perspective. You say, man, I got to pick up my thing.
Continue.
TBC, inshallah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك اشهد ان لا اله الا انت استغفرك واتوب اليك.